And we are back. Mod trending over. Now we are moving on to the live build in public for the PumpFun Hackathon. That guy right there is Adam. That guy right there is Mr. Pixel. And I am DeFi Sean. Now I'll kind of just be hanging out a lot in the background on this episode. The guys will be starting to show you the build of our second game show. Moon or Dust aired it yesterday. Go check it out. Clips are down below, or episodes down below. Clips are on YouTube. The episodes on YouTube. We are everywhere on X, all over the place. But yeah, guys, Mr. P, Adam, if you guys want to kind of take it over and let everyone know what they are in for today.
Yes, sir. Yeah, we are excited to get the actual build started here. So, obviously, if you haven't seen it, we did a quick introduction yesterday. It's probably down there. Exactly what you can expect from what we're going to be doing here over the coming weeks and however long it is. I don't expect this process to take an insane amount of time, but of course, it's going to take a little longer than if we're just doing it in the back room, just trying to explain it to everybody so that they understand. And please have your questions, drop them in the chat here as well. We want maximum feedback. And yeah, excited to get the build underway and really get this hackathon kicked off. And I'm really excited to get creative and make another game. Adam, how you feeling? You ready to do this thing?
Yeah, feeling good. Looking forward to trashing it all out, getting a feel for the game we're going to build, getting the community involved, getting everything ready to actually start the build. So there's going to be a lot of back and forth with AI. Yeah, really looking forward to it.
All right. Yeah, let's do it. All right, everybody, let's get into it. So the first thing in our own process when we're building the game is we kind of have our rough idea. And as we talked about yesterday, the idea is that we're going to make a game similar to Card Sharks. Came out in the 1980s, this game. I'm sure everybody remembers all the game shows from back in those days, if you're not as old as we are. But, game shows are always a strong staple. And I think, converting them and putting some tweaks on them and bringing them over to the crypto sphere is definitely going to be something that I think we're going to see a lot more of. And of course, we have our own Moon or Dust game show that we just had on live yesterday. You can check out that as well down below. You'll see the game show, Space Cat, come on. So you'll see that game show that we previously built. We actually did test that. Now, we didn't do all the building live on screen, but we did test it out with the community live on YouTube and stuff. So it was a lot of fun. We have AI whales, and I think that was a lot more extensive than this build that we're going to do this time. We're going to keep it a little more simplistic just because, it's our first one live and, for people to follow along and be able to kind of understand without going too crazy deep. So people can kind of grasp that, yeah, this is a manageable thing. And the whole goal here is so that people understand that this isn't as daunting a task as you actually think it is now with the AI and everything that you can use. And becoming proficient in AI is one of the most important things you can do today. I think it's even more important than actually going to college, to be honest. Understanding and learning AI, you'll do a lot better because it's not the AI that will replace you. It's the people that know how to use it are going to replace you. So join us here now today for the PumpFun Hackathon. And of course, you can go and check out everything that we have going on over at moonordust.media anytime you like. So yeah, if you want to get a feel for it, go and check that out. And we have our entry video as well to the PumpFun Hackathon on there, so you can get an idea of exactly what we're doing. And like I said, go and check out the episode from yesterday where we kind of broke down exactly what we're going to be doing. So I think today, Adam, we're going to be mostly using probably ChatGPT, right? And that is chat.openai.com for anybody that is
yes,
watching.
I think, to kind of kick it off, the process we normally go through is, we get a bit of an idea of what we want to build, a loose idea. Obviously, we're going for a game show. And, back in the 80s, 90s, game shows were absolutely massive. You can go on to any like old school TV reruns, and even people love to sit down and watch game shows that could be 20 years old. So, there's this huge entertainment factor with game shows when you have like live people on there, live reactions, all that kind of stuff. So, yeah, I think, bringing game shows back and bring them into the crypto world, digitizing them, they're a lot of fun. People enjoy it. So, I think we can bring it in here. Our first game show was obviously, a single player game with the Moon or Dust kind of based loosely around Deal or No Deal, how that kind of works. People love that game show. So I think we'll move on and we'll do another game show this time. But if we can kind of make it more multiplayer, I think it'll be a lot of fun. So
Yeah, we're
that's
gonna go
kind of the loose
style
premise
game.
of it.
Yeah, gonna go for a head-to-head style game this time. And yeah, I think like live crypto entertainment is going to be definitely something to watch out for in the future. And PumpFun Note, that's why they're doing this hackathon. Live streaming is the way to go. And bringing those creator rewards, it's a lot better than creator rewards that you're going to get over on YouTube and a lot of other places. So I think you can expect something like this to blast off in a big way. So yeah, and we are going to show you exactly how you can build one of these games. So strap in, get ready. If you didn't watch the episode from yesterday, just be aware we're going to be using ChatGPT. We're going to be using Replit for vibe coding. We're going to be using OpenArt AI for branding and content creation. We're going to be using 11 Labs for audio. And I'll be using Adobe Photoshop, Adobe Premiere as well then for creating the content on top of that. So if you're familiar with any of those, that's good. If not, we'll familiarize you with them also. So yeah, let's get into it, Adam. All right, first thing we're going to do, I guess we'll have a look at the actual game show that we're going to kind of replicate here. I'll be right back.
Yeah, and yeah, I just want to say that like the main thing we're going to do here is we're going to take you through the process that myself and Mr. P go through. It's going to be completely organic, authentic. So anytime we just kind of brainstorm and come up with an idea and, try and concept it all out and see where it goes, basically vibing. That's kind of what we want to do. We don't want to, deviate or try to move away from our own processes. We just want to bring you on the journey that we normally go through and bring your feedback and your input into the whole thing. So, we're not going to change anything just because we're live streaming or anything like that. We're just going to do exactly what we normally do and get everyone else involved in it. And this is the process we go through when we create games, we create content, we build. This is what we do. So hopefully
don't be shy.
So don't be shy. Yeah. Get your comments in, get your word in. We want feedback. We love feedback all the time because the more people we have, the more ideas we get, and the more creative the game can be. Sometimes we throw out ideas there, and I could say something, and Mr. P could just shit all over it in 2 seconds and say that's no, and vice versa. That's the process.
Yeah.
So
first, I guess we'll kick it off and we'll show this classic game show called Card Sharks from back in the day, 1986. This episode was aired. So I'll give you a little idea exactly what the game is going to look like, or what we're going to basically take the inspiration from to create this game. So yeah, want to hit it, Adam?
All right. Let's see how. I think it's Amy versus Kay. So let's see how they get on. Yeah.
So yeah, as you can see, I guess the early premise here, this is before she was going to go into the head-to-head with another competitor. So I think this is where she earns like her starting money that she's going to play with. Is that right?
Yeah, that they're kind of going to bet on. So I think they both kind of get a run. Both contestants get a run at. They get this little run at the start, and whatever money they finish up with, that's kind of what they start to bet out. But this is kind of in the head-to-head then, so they've both got their starting capital, let's say, for the head-to-head game, where they've got a line each at the top and the bottom. So that's just kind of the premise, but that's kind of how we do, and then we can kind of get into the nitty-gritty about the actual rules and how the game flows. So that's when we kind of, we'd go to ChatGPT now, we'd start our flow, get it familiar with the game, which of course it will be because it's AI and it has the history of everything. And we'll just kind of trash out the rules, how the game plays, and then we'll kind of look into how we can integrate it for a live stream, how we can integrate crypto, how we can make it kind of more entertaining, because obviously we'll be using, StreamYard and stuff like that for live streaming. So we want to see how we can integrate it, keep it entertaining, involve Sean as the host, like all that kind of stuff. So we start off with our base layer here, bring back a cool old school game show, and then we'll go through the flow and the stages with ChatGPT, and then we'll see how we can integrate that.
All right.
for
Sweet.
a cool mod media game show.
Yeah, so I guess, do we want to skip in there a little bit in this clip so we can just show people the head-to-head portion, where they're
let's
actually
see.
playing in that part? All right, where we at?
I think they're blank screen there.
Oh, you're muted there, Adam. You're muted.
Yeah, I think one of the nice kind of interesting things about this and where we can possibly implement some AI is on the question front. And AI can kind of pull from some live surveys, maybe stuff like that. It gives stuff, gives some interesting things for the host to kind of engage with and talk about, and bit of feedback on. I mean, questions like this
Yeah.
are going to be very different back then to what they're going to be now.
Yeah,
But
and we can have those questions a little more crypto related anyway, right? So that's what
exactly.
we can put this in here.
Yeah.
Okay, so the premise of the game, it's high-low, obviously, as anybody can see, and that moves you along the board, and it shows, I guess, whoever gets to the end after over a period of 2 games will go on and play the big money game. So we can let's get the original premise down, and then we can look at that final round. So it looks like it's 3 rounds. You'd come in, and they both play for their initial round. Then they go head to head, and then the winner of 2 matches goes on to play the big round where they play for the big money, I guess, right?
Yes, I believe so.
All right. Okay. Perfect.
I'll move on to this one. Okay.
All right. Of course, if you're just tuning in, everybody, this is the PumpFun Hackathon Mod Media Live build. We are going live 5 days a week building out this game show. If you haven't seen our other game show, go and check it out down there in the comments. You can see Coffee Coin was the contestant, or not in the comments, in the previous streams down there. Yeah, go check it out. Do we have anybody in the chat today? I'm not seeing anybody, but I know PumpFun has been a little difficult. My live stream keeps lagging in and out, and I'm not seeing anybody in the chat either. But so I'm not sure. That's happened to me before, and I'm not sure how many viewers we have. I'm not sure if that viewer count is even right at the moment. But this, of course, will be going. You will see it as well down in the previous streams, and we'll be putting it on our other. Oh, it's looking good. All right, great. Mod Media, it's looking good. Sweet. All right, thanks, Sean. That's Sean in the background, keeping an eye on everything for this show. Appreciate that, Sean. All right. Okay, Adam. So what do we want to get into
let's get some, anybody who's watching, let's get some thoughts, let's get some opinions about the show, how we can possibly integrate this into crypto, our own live streaming game show. Shoot all your ideas over. Let's hear what you got to say.
Absolutely. All right. Do we want to get into ChatGPT now and just kind of start trashing this thing out?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, let's move to ChatGPT. Get it familiar with the game show, which obviously it is going to know all about. And we'll get a flow of how the actual original game show worked. And then we can kind of take it from there and see how we can implement it, update it, modernize it, and make
cryptoize it.
Cryptoize it, exactly. Cryptoize it and make it how we want to, how we can bring it into the crypto century and make it entertaining.
Yeah. All right. So can you bring up ChatGPT there? I'm not seeing it on your screen.
Sorry, I thought you had ChatGPT up already. 1 second.
Oh, no. I think you're the one that's going to be doing the typing here for this part.
Okay. Sorry. Yeah.
All right, we're going to pull this up here, and we will get into it now momentarily. All right, Amy, well done. We'll come back to you later and see how you got on with that. All right, let's add this to the stage. Okay, there we are.
She was crushing it.
Yeah, she was doing well. When should we make it to the big money round? All right, so Adam, let's let everybody know, how would you start this process?
So, I mean, normally we would ask the AI, ChatGPT in this case, is it familiar with the game show? How are we going to integrate it into, get it familiar and then familiarize ourselves with, how the actual game show works, the flow of it, and all that kind of stuff. So
all right, we'll ask it right away, and we'll say, okay, do a deep dive into the old game show called Card Sharks, and give us back all the information about how it works, what the flow is, the mechanics, all of that stuff, and see what it comes back with. And the main thing is always when you're talking, it's being able to articulate what you want. And it's not too bad with ChatGPT. You don't need to use no crazy terminology. But the number one thing you have to understand with the AI is before you move any further, you need to make sure that it understands everything about what you're doing. So we need to make sure first here that ChatGPT understands exactly how that old style game show worked from top to bottom. And as soon as it gets to that point, we will probably tell it, all right, we are going to revision this game show for a crypto audience, a new modern audience. I know I actually don't want to use that word. I hate using that word, but a crypto-centric audience, I guess, is more in tune. So yeah, so that's what we're doing, and tag along here now and see exactly what kind of results we get. And it's always good to tell it as well, like to do a deep dive, like let it take the time to really understand it as much as it can, because I'm sure there's probably been a few little different iterations as a sort of over the years. Sometimes they'll like refurbish and they'll bring out a new one, and there'll be some slight tweaks here and there. So, and I like the idea that they're betting on the next card too. That's very crypto centric. It's very, gambler kind of style. So I think that's really going to play in to exactly what we're doing here. Okay, Sean, just give me some updates there. Chat's looking good. The video's looking good. Watching outside of StreamYard. All right, perfect. So he's going to be monitoring here because obviously, we've had some minor issues with the streaming here from time to time and the chat and stuff. So it's good that that's working. If there is anybody in the chat, please let us know. I'm not sure if my chat is updating here live or not, but I am monitoring it. So if anybody's got anything to say, please drop it in there. We want your feedback. We want your thoughts. We want you involved in this process with us. And hopefully, even maybe some people when they're watching this now or watching it back later on, that you can tag along and maybe even build your own game and follow along with kind of how we're doing this. So this content is going to be very reusable after the fact as well. But of course, AI arms race, it changes very, very often. It's crazy, the rate of acceleration with AI right now. So sometimes certain processes can become obsolete based on that. But right now, we're at the forefront of everything that can kind of expedite a process like this. So, Adam, what have we got there so far? What's your prompt here now?
Okay. Yeah, so we're going to just start off kind of nice and simple, do a deep dive into the old game show called Card Sharks. I want to know how it works, mechanics, game flow, etc. Our intention is to develop this into a new age crypto-centric live stream game show where we can bring on 2 contestants using StreamYard software. Let's trash out how the original game works initially, and then we will discuss how this can be integrated into live streaming today and crypto themed. So we'll just get a basic. I think you're muted there, Jay.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, maybe tell it as well. Just to make sure that it does a deep dive on the full functionality of the old game, so it has a full understanding of it, and let us know what its understanding is, so that we can be like, okay, yeah, that seems accurate, that seems right. Sometimes AI can go a little rogue at times, and it can, imagine stuff. So you got to kind of be on point and make sure that it is understanding, and that's why you got to kind of read over what it gives you back and not just take its word for it, because sometimes it can get things wrong. So you got to be on point, on the ball when you are actually, building this out, and make sure that your initial prompt is solid. So that it understands exactly what you're looking
is to do a full deep dive into the full workings of the original game and have a complete understanding of how it works and
game mechanics.
Mechanics are vital.
All right, perfect.
And I always, when I'm dealing with AI, I always like to put in an understood question mark at the end, because it kind of pushes the focus. I do that a lot with Replit when I'm dealing with the agent, because it'll come back to you and kind of reiterate what you've said. Sometimes if you don't put in understood, it kind of gives it a more expansive, wheelhouse to just kind of go a little bit outside of your direction. So if you put in an understood with a question mark at the end, it kind of keeps it focused on exactly what you've just said. So
Nice tip.
understood, question mark. It'll reiterate what you said and say, yes, I understand completely what you've said. And it kind of gives yourself a bit more peace of mind as well when you're prompting. And when you're prompting is one thing, but when you're building, having this just that simple understood question mark at the end, especially when you're planning in Replit, when we get to that point, it gives yourself peace of mind, and it also keeps guardrails on the AI, so you don't have to keep going back and correcting it.
Yes. Could you just zoom in a little bit, Adam, on your screen there so that text is a little larger? There we go. Okay. All right. So here it is. Just a quick recap. Do a deep dive into the old, scroll up. Do a deep dive into the old game show called Card Sharks. I want to know how it works, mechanics, game flow, etc. Our intention is to develop this into a new age crypto-centric live stream game show where we can bring on 2 contestants using StreamYard software. Let's trash out how the original game works initially, and then we will discuss how this can be integrated into live streaming today and crypto themed. Main initial intention is to do a full deep dive into the full workings of the original game and have a complete understanding of how it works and plays out. Mechanics are vital. Understood? Question mark. All right, there we go. Let's hit it and see what we get. All right, searching the web. There we go. So now it's doing its homework, figuring out exactly what the game is. Yes, understood. You want a full mechanical teardown of the original Card Sharks format first before adapting it to live stream. Plus crypto. I'll treat this like a game design audit. Structure, rules, psychology, pacing, scoring, probability, production, and mechanics. This will give you a complete operational model you can later remix into a live stream native crypto format. Exactly. Okay. I think it understood the task. Okay. Go ahead, Adam.
Okay, so number 1, we've got the core concept, the game DNA, card sharks, survey, prediction, and probabilistic card climbing. 2 intertwined mechanics. A, control mechanic. Contestants answer survey questions. Whoever wins the question controls the cards. Okay, so that's good. That's looking to me like a nice place to implement AI. So that'll be a nice AI integration where the AI will produce the question for Sean and maybe his host controls or something like that. So it'll generate questions depending on the prompt we provide for AI and what team we want the questions. Obviously, it'll be crypto related, something along those lines. So that's a nice one to hear. It adds a cool dynamic.
I think I think, Adam, we could have I think crypto meme token related questions would be kind of funny. For something like that, and if we wanted, we could sub that out to AI to even ask the question, depending on how the lore would play out. Like if we were to add in some kind of a character, right? We haven't gone into the lore of what this game is going to be yet, but first we'll focus on the core mechanics before we get into that. But that is open for debate, and we can add any lore we want. And again, if we wanted like AI to ask that question for us, we could do that using 11 Labs and API integration on there too. So yeah, go ahead, Adam.
Yeah, exactly. And give us your thoughts on what you think about the kind of questions and the kind of characteristics of the AI that we can possibly use for generating those questions, the theme we want to have them. So yeah, just let us know your thoughts. Give us any feedback in the chat, in the mod Telegram, all that kind of stuff. That's kind of how we want to build this with everybody involved. So yeah, we'll move on to B, risk ladder mechanic. Contestant tries to clear a row of cards by calling higher or lower. Freeze any time to bank the position. This combination creates social guessing, audience relatability, probability tension, that's the cards, and then risk management, freeze versus push. That trifecta is why the show worked. And then we've got 2, the game board structure. Contestants, we've got 2 players, each has their own deck, each has a horizontal row of oversized cards, typical layouts. The classic 1978 to 89, holy shit, I'm feeling old right now. 5 cards in the row, revival, and
I don't think we were watching it. I don't think we were watching it around that time. I'm sure we were watching reruns when we were watching it, but yeah,
Yeah, I mean,
carry on.
I'd say definitely the parents had it on. I mean, we were born, 1982? We would have been 5, 6. Maybe we caught a little bit at the end of the classic era, but I think I remember the other guy Eubanks,
Bob
right?
was-
I think he was Bob. Bob is it
Eubank.
Eubank?
Yeah.
Bob Eubank. Yeah,
I
I think he
so.
was the.
Yep.
I remember. So we're probably pretty young where our parents used to be watching this and we've seen it on TV. So the revival in 2019, 7 to 10 cards, tiebreakers, sometimes 3. Ace is considered high, so that's a very important mechanic right there. 2 is low. So the ace is not considered as a 1, it's considered at the top of the pile. So 3, then you've got the round flow, main game. Step 1, survey question. Example, we asked 100 dentists how many said X. Player 1 gives a numeric guess, player 2 says higher or lower than that guess. Correct player gains card control. Why this matters mechanically: low skill barrier, psychological anchoring, creates conversational drama. This is essentially a bidding mechanic disguised as trivia. And one good thing about that is it gives some more work to Sean. So he's got to engage a lot more with the contestants, and have a bit of banter back and forth. So it makes for good entertainment. But that's why this
We're
is
going to have to go out and do some surveys.
Yeah, some AI surveys.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, so then we go to mechanically low skill area. Okay, so this is essentially a bidding mechanic disguised as trivia. Step 2, card control phase. So if the contestant number 2 was wrong with their higher or lower guess on player 1's number, they would then, if they were correct, they would gain control of the cards. If they weren't, player 1 would have control of the cards. So the winning contestant reveal his first card, base card, option keep it, swap it with the next card from the deck. And I think you want to get 3 of those, but let's see. Then 3 must call, next card higher or lower. Repeat until a wrong guess, same card rank, auto loss. Player freezes or clears the full row. Freeze mechanic, critical design feature. Freezing stops your run. Protects progress, opponent cannot continue from that point. Your new base card becomes last revealed card. This mechanic prevents runaway luck, introduces strategy, creates pacing control. It's basically cash out versus press your luck. Game design gold. They really nailed down those game shows back in those days.
Oh, they did, man. They did.
Yeah. So then we've got 5, failure state mechanics. If the contestant calls it wrong or hits equal rank, then all cards that turned are discarded. Opponent takes control. Opponent must play from current base card, no swap. Important. This creates punishment asymmetry. Risk taker loses progress. Opponent inherits opportunity. Classic momentum swing mechanic. Win condition. Win the round by successfully clearing entire card row. Original format, best 2 out of 3 games. Later, single game for speed TV pacing. So that's something that we're going to have to consider and see. I think game shows, especially in today's age, you can't have them running in. I don't think definitely past 30 minutes. I think you want to kind of keep it within 30-minute time frame.
Totally.
I know with 2 players and a bit of banter back and forth with the host, adds a little bit more. But if we compare this game to our current Moon or Dust Deal or No Deal style game, it's probably shorter. That's why there's multiple rounds. So the banter back and forth and the kind of survey questions fill in that kind of that kind of entertainment space. So
yeah, and of
I
course,
think 30 minutes.
Yeah, I think 30 minutes is definitely the sweet spot. And of course, I mean, the thing is with Moon or Dust, that can be over pretty quick. Somebody can take an early deal and then it's over. It just depends on how it goes. And a lot of the time when they're doing game shows like that, like Who Wants to Be a Millionaire, they got their time slot. And if somebody does cash out early, they'll have someone else lined up and they'll pick it up the next week or something like that. That's how they would do it, because it's very, very strict when it comes to the time slots on cable TV channels and stuff. Adam, can you hear me right now? You can. I think my StreamYard had.
I can hear you. Yeah.
Oh, you can. Okay, I wasn't sure if I lost audio. My StreamYard has been a little bit janky as well recently. Sometimes I gotta refresh So I just wanted to make sure everybody, if you're just tuning in, we are using Chat GPT right now to develop out the actual concept of the game, making sure that it understands exactly how the game functions before we start diving in. And this is the PumpFun Hackathon Mod Media Live build. All right. So where are we at here now, Adam?
Okay, we're down to number 7, which is the sudden death mechanic. So this is kind of, I would assume, the last. I think this is maybe the second last stage of the game. So how it runs is, if the final question is reached, winner must choose option A, play cards, or option B, force opponent to play without a card swap. Wrong guess is an instant loss. This is essentially forced volatility injection. Great for television climax. And then bonus round is number 8, money cards. This is where stakes escalate. Usually three rows. Bottom is multiple cards, middle fewer, top final card. Player starts with bankroll. It's kind of similar to the first one from what I'm reading.
Yeah, probably higher stakes towards the
higher
end.
stakes. What they've gathered throughout the kind of middle stages of the game. So they bet money on higher or lower, lose all money, often given small reload. This phase converts knowledge. Game, gambling, spectacle, provides big TV moment. Okay, and then 9, so this is the secret sauce, hidden mathematical layer. The card mechanic is probability based. Example, if base card is 7, higher probability, roughly balanced. If base card is queen, lower, statistically better, of course. So contestants evaluate the card value, assess run momentum, decide freeze versus risk. This gives illusion of skill despite randomness. 10. Production mechanics, important for adoption. Survey questions, always pre-produced, typically 100 people sample or smaller demographic groups. This guarantees quick reveals, maintains pacing. B is the deck integrity, real shuffle decks, strict verification to prevent bias, trust matters heavily. C, you've got the visual structure, classic layout, 2 podiums, large cardboard, host central. This keeps focus on reactions, clear visual stakes. So this is something that we've always talked about as well, Mr. P, when we were doing Moon or Dust game show, trying to get people on camera and stuff. Because when you're doing game shows and live TV game shows, having the host interacting, having people's faces, reactions, it's everything when it comes to this kind of stuff.
It totally is. That's what gives it like the punch, right? You want to see people how they react to winning or losing. You know, looking at a PFP just does not work. It does not give you that same fight. So it's so important. That's why we always push people to come on camera and do the other game.
You're a little bit muffled there, Jay. I'm not too sure.
I'm not sure exactly why. I think that just happens sometimes. I think it might be StreamYard or something, but
yeah. So it is actually vital. I mean, it's one of the mainstays and why these games work so well, because you get the tension, you get the gambling, you get all those kind of different things, and what people love to see is how people react to it, see their facial expressions. So it is vital to have people's faces, because humans love to see other humans. Yeah, that's the entertainment. Exactly. They love to see them happy. They love to see them sad. They love to see them in stress, trying to decide on something. That's just how it is. So that makes for good entertainment. So then 11, psychological hooks, why it worked. Relatability, survey questions feel social. Tension, high-low guessing, universally understandable. Risk, freeze mechanic keeps suspense. Momentum, control swings rapidly. Visual payoff, card flipping is inherently dramatic. Which it is, especially when there's mafia tokens involved.
Yeah, and hey, go to Vegas. Anybody play blackjack? It's
So the key mechanics summary, design blueprint, control loop, survey, control, cards, risk, core decisions, numerical guess versus higher lower, swap the base card, continue run or freeze, and then there's a final sudden death choice. What makes it adaptable today? Mechanically, it's simple, visual, probabilistic, competitive, and scalable. That's why it's perfect for live streaming, betting overlays, audience participation, crypto tokenization. We'll dive into that in the next phase,
and which
is what we're looking for.
Yeah, and hey, you know, maybe we'll reach out to Polymarket and people can be betting on higher or lower in the crowd too, in the audience. Would that be something?
Yeah, so that's kind of the initial prompt, the initial comeback. So we've got a good idea of how the game generally works, what it portrays, the entertainment value, you know, the different psychological values of each one of the stages of the game. So it's very important to kind of get that down and how we can enhance that and how we can integrate it into what we want to build for live streaming today.
Yep. So I think we have anybody that's watching. I'm sure we have a good understanding of kind of the layout of the game, the concept, the structure of the old style game. So from here, we're going to start to kind of develop out the concept and see how we're going to, you know, bring it up to the crypto world. And you know, maybe there might be some mechanics in there that we want to kind of switch around or change, but as we go, that's why it's called vibe coding, because as we go we'll just vibe with it. And that's the thing, you can kind of test out things in real time once you get to that stage and say, oh, this works, this isn't working, maybe we change this, maybe we change that. So okay, Adam, so what is your next step? What would be your next step here now?
So usually we kind of have myself and Mr. P would have a chat about what we think and how we can make this work, how we can integrate it into like live streaming today. And, you know, we just kind of bounce back and forth. Right now, we'd like to do that with the audience and get their thoughts on it. But I think there's huge potential here for like a good live stream game show. I think there's good integration opportunities when it comes to the questions, integrating AI. There's good head-to-head opportunities. So in our, let's say for mod media being crypto-centric, you know, crypto projects are very tribal, so you can pit one against the other. You know, and you know, we can put up mafia tokens, we can put up, you know, whatever we want to do, it's Solana, whatever we want to do, that up as the prize. So we can get that good bit of rivalry going, about some good competitive gameplay live. I think there's great opportunity for interaction with Sean, the host, and, you know, when it comes to the survey questions, you know, people get good kind of entertainment value out of that kind of stuff. So I think we've got good opportunity here to make a pretty entertaining game out of it and bring it into today's crypto world.
Yeah, absolutely. So I guess the first thing we can do is we can kind of hone in on the first round, right? So the first round, when they come in, it basically seems like it's a 3-tiered. What is it? You start off with a certain amount of money, right? How much you start off with there? Or let's
take a look here.
Yeah, let's just go with
concept, game board structure, round flow. So step one, you start off with the survey question. So the first thing is Sean's going to ask the two players a question to see who gets the first shot at the board.
So you asked one of the players first, right? How do you decide? Because then the other person has to say higher or lower, right? So how do you decide? So initially we need to decide who goes first, who gets to ask the first question, or gets to answer the first question, I should say.
Okay, two players, each has their own deck, each has their own row of oversized cards. That doesn't say how we decide who goes first. To mechanic control, mechanic risk ladder. That's an overview. So we need to find out how is the initial contestant picked regarding who gets asked the survey question.
Yeah, well, we could just do a coin toss.
Yeah, we could do a coin toss.
No, you know what we do? Both of them get a random card. Whoever gets the higher card, they'll go first.
That's true. Yeah, we could do that. Just give me 1 second there.
Yeah, no worries. Of course, anybody is tuning in, this is the moonerdust.media live hackathon that we are doing for PumpFun. We're going to be building out this game show here over the next couple of weeks, from initial concept, which is what we're going over today. So we're actually working with ChatGPT at the moment to kind of figure out the concept exactly, make sure that the AI understands exactly how the game works, the core mechanics of it, and it appears that it does do that. So now we're going to start diving into exactly how we're going to like alter it for what we want to do, cryptoize it, as we said. But yeah, and you can check out everything we got going on as well over at moonordust.media. Go to the website there and check it out. All the details about the PumpFun Hackathon, what we're doing, and everything else that we do. And you can check out the last game show that we did build as well, called Moonordust. You know what? I actually have a clip here that we could potentially play, just so people get an idea. If this is your first time tuning in, this will be the second game show that we're going to build. The first one we didn't build in public, but we did test it in public on YouTube with our community, and it was a whole lot of fun. So I'll play this little clip here real quick, and you guys can check it out and see the first game show that we did build, and then we'll get back to the building as well, just so you have an idea of what we're looking at. Of course, I don't think, from looking at what we have so far, I don't think it's going to be as intense as the Moonordust game show itself. I think it's going to be an easier build, honestly, based on the mechanics here. And easier graphically too on my end, even though I am looking forward to creating a whole card deck as well, a customized card deck as well. So that's going to be a lot of fun. But yeah, Adam, welcome back. I was just going to show people a clip from Moonordust game show in case they're just tuning in for the first time, they're not familiar with us. This is a game show that we have. So yeah, go and check this out, everybody, and see what you think. And yeah, hopefully this gets you pumped for what we got coming up next.
Go ahead, bring up Moon Boy all the way from the moon and see how he's doing. Moon Boy, what is going on?
Hello, guys. Yeah, it's awesome here. I feel very, very good.
The Whale of Wall Street. Soleil.
It's going to be a no-nonsense episode because we have Dominic. So, Moon Boy, let's go ahead and pick that chosen wallet.
The magic number is 11.
Wallet 11, Mr. Pixel. Let's lock it in.
Wallet locked.
So let's go ahead and pick that first wallet.
You're in the late phase and lighting up the scoreboard. So let's seal the deal now with my offer of $75.
Moon Boy, the decision's yours. Are we going to moon or dust?
It's a really good offer, but come on. I'm a gambler on the moon.
Dominic, we're dusting. We're going all the way.
Yeah.
You're betting big on Moon Boy? Love that gutsy move. Let's see where those crypto stakes land. Until next time, keep swinging.
Dominic has one question for you, though, Moon Boy. Are you going to swap or hodl?
You know, usually people don't change their wallets, so I'm pretty sure that I'm going to stick with it. We stay as we are.
So, Mr. Pixel, is wallet 11 holding 160 or 18? Let's find out. Oh, Moon Boy. It's $18 for Moon Boy. And Moon Boy, what are we going to do with that $18?
We most likely I'm going to buy some Moon Boy tokens.
Thanks for joining us. Glad we got to entertain you for a while. You get back to your duties on the moon. Peace.
I do the moonwalk.
Go to moonordust.media, download the training bot, get your community voted, and you might just be the next one to face off against the whales.
There it is. Yeah, so that
Awesome.
is the game show. Yeah, that is the game show that we did build and tested with the community. So we are ready to build the next one here based around the classic game Card Sharks. All right, Adam. So what is our next step here?
So yeah, I think we've kind of decided on the first round, which is the survey question. So I think the way to go with that is have AI generate a question. Obviously, the host is going to have his own DeFi Sean. He's going to have his own control panel, his own host panel, where he can read these questions off, put them to each one of the contestants, and he'll have the correct answer in front of him. And then the other contestant will say whether they think that answer would be higher or lower than contestant one's answer. So I think how we're going to decide, one of the things we weren't sure about there is how do we decide who gets asked the first question. So
I think a good card turn is the way to go.
A good card turn. They get a random card each, and whoever is the highest one, yeah, that kind of fits in. So we get the question, and then from there, whoever gets the correct answer, they're on the board, right? That's how it works.
Yes, that
Player
is
one
correct.
gives a numeric guess. Player two says higher or lower. Correct player gains card control. Okay, so then card control phase. So whoever got it correct.
So quick
Reveal-
question here. So for the very first round where they bank their money and they're just playing individually, this is after that. Is that correct?
I think it looks like it's after that. So
So our first round will be basically each contestant is going to basically do that initial round where they build up as much money as they can to take into the next round, right?
yeah, I
It
think
doesn't
that
really matter
seems
who
to
goes
be-
first, right? In that scenario, like they both have to do it either way, right?
Yeah, I think either one they've got to run that, and then whatever they come out with at the end, that's the money that they have to bet going forward in the game. So it's kind of it looks like it's individual first. So one player gets to go, and they'll get up to a certain amount of money, and that's what they have going into the head to head, and the other person gets to go. That's the amount of money they have going into the head to head. Then we go and we do the survey question. Whoever gets that right gets first control of the board. From what I can see.
Or do they choose it by, whoever won the most or least amount of money gets to go first? I wonder.
Yeah, it could have been that. Let's jump over here and take a quick look just to be sure that that's how it goes.
All right. Back to Amy.
Let's go and check in.
UCLA, right? I think you become bear. And you cut the cards. Good.
You know what? I think maybe the other contestant was the winner from last week or the last time they played. I think maybe sometimes they did that a lot where it would be.
Oh, that's right. That's right. Yeah, I think
would stay going for as long as they could without getting knocked out.
That's right. That was one of the old mechanics of the games. I think a couple of game shows kind of use that one. They'd be on next week. Whoever wins is faces the next week's contestant.
Mm-hmm. And that's
So
something we can choose to integrate or not. We can have 2 fresh contestants every week. I think that'd probably be better for what we're doing.
But I wonder how did they decide what the contestant from last week brought into the head-to-head? How much money did they have?
Yeah, I'm not sure. That's why I think maybe it's better that we just have 2 fresh contestants every week and kind of start probably work better for what we're doing.
Yeah, I think 2 fresh contestants is probably the best way to go here.
Mm-hmm.
Every week you've got 2 different projects kind of going head to head, so I think that's definitely the way to go.
Look at that hair, man. All right. Classic.
Yeah, we're going to have to get some of our whales in little mini skirts and stuff.
All right. All
So
right.
I'm going to share this tab here.
All right. Yeah. We're going to get back into Chat GPT here now momentarily. I think we have lost Adam. He's frozen up. Adam, are you good there?
Yeah, I think it's a StreamYard thing. Let me see. I'll stop sharing and reshare again.
Maybe shut your camera off and turn it back on as well.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you fine. Yeah, I just can't. Your screen is just your camera frozen.
Yeah. 1 second here. Let me refresh this one here.
Okay. You want to give a quick refresh there? All right, Adam will be back with us here momentarily, and we'll continue the build. Apologies for the technical difficulties. We've been having those, but I'm sure everybody does when you're live streaming. All right, he is back here again. So let's see where we're at. All right, there we go. Got to get his green screen sorted out. There we go. All right, he's back.
All right.
Okay, sweet. All right, if you want to share your screen there again.
Let me share this.
That's been happening to me a lot with StreamYard too. My audio would just switch to a new source and things like that. I'd have to go and refresh the whole page again and rejoin back in. But I know they've been adding a lot of features, so I'm sure they got some bugs that they try to iron out a lot. All right, there we go.
Yeah. Okay, so where were we? We were talking about we're going to have 2 contestants probably fresh every week.
Yes.
They'll both get to do a run at the initial one, just like Amy did.
Yes.
And
So
they'll
so
both-
I guess regarding time constraints in that regard, so if 2 people have to do that same initial round every time, maybe that's something that we might have to kind of shorten up a little bit or edit it down a little bit, because if there's multiple rounds and this and that, just for time purposes, but we can cross that bridge.
Yeah, I think maybe one of the ways to deal with that, I would say that initial round, if you're going to have 2 fresh contestants on every week, you just give both of them a starting market cap. Let's say, like they both have the same amount, and they go for it. I think maybe like round
And
one might not be.
just cut out that initial round altogether.
I think so. Yeah, if you're going to have
Yeah.
fresh contestants every week, they both have the same starting amount, and like the first round is going to be a survey question from the host, and whoever gets it right, or whoever wins that question, they get control of the board, and they start off with their. They start off in the initial run, and then they get to kind of go through it first. So obviously, there's an advantage of going first.
Yes. So
Because
we'll
I
just
think-
say, yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I think because if you go first, you can get as far as you like, and you have the option to freeze. I think, but where the second person that goes doesn't get the option to freeze, they kind of have to go to try and pass out the other person, the other contestant.
So I guess our initial thing will be both contestants will come in, and the first interaction they're going to have is they will both have a card each, and they'll flip one, and whoever
Yeah.
gets the higher number will take control of the board first, right?
Yes, yeah,
Okay,
yeah,
so that's
exactly.
going to be our initial beginning of the round. We'll cut out that first initial round. I wonder what's a good number for everyone to start with. I guess it doesn't really matter too much right now at this point.
Yeah.
But we will figure that out. Okay.
So I think I'll just jot this in kind of as we're trashing out each round. I just pop it in here. Just say we are thinking for this.
Okay, just a quick update too from Sean. He said the stream is working good on his end, thankfully. I'm not sure what's going on mine, just constantly refreshing the live stream here. It's kind of weird. But I know my computer is actually, I need a new rig so bad. I know my computer is so bogged with stuff on there. But hey, this is going to bring me a new rig. I know it. I'm excited. And of course, everybody, if you're tuning in, this is the PumpFun Hackathon Mod Media Live Build. We're building a game show. We've already built one, like I said, and this is going to be the next iteration. We hope that you're all going to follow along with us and maybe build alongside us as well. I mean, I think most people do have ChatGPT, so you can even go through this process. Pick another game that you like, right? Another game show you remember from your childhood or whenever. And, follow us along here. Talk to GPT just like we're doing. And, you could have a game show by the end of this too. I'd love to see somebody else that built a game show along with us. I'd love to see that. It'd be pretty cool. Or else if you're watching back, this will have plenty replayability. So it's something that people can tap into any time to actually figure out how to build this using AI. I don't know how much exact replayability it's going to have, of course, because, AI software is changing so much so quickly that, things can become obsolete pretty quick. But again, the softwares we're using ChatGPT right now. We're also going to be using Replit for the vibe coding. We're going to be using OpenArt for the content creation, images and animating images and creating video and stuff like that. We'll be using 11 Labs for the audio, and we'll be using some Adobe products, Adobe Photoshop, Premiere Pro, maybe some After Effects, all depending on what we needed, what the use cases are. So they're the softwares we're going to be using. So if anybody's familiar with those, that's awesome. And I'm sure people have other softwares that they use that do a very similar thing. So reading exactly what the prompt Adam's putting in right now, I am thinking for this implementation, we don't go ahead with the initial round and have the 2 players start with the same betting amount. Question, does the contestant from the previous show progress to the next show to take on a new contestant? First round would be the survey question generated by AI, ChatGPT. Contestants would be dealt a random card each. Highest card takes control of the board.
Okay, so just to clarify that, just for our own kind of headspace, just to see was that how it worked. I'm pretty sure it is. So
I
if
think
that
so.
is the case, then we're
They did
better
that
off
with
just to start.
Yeah, they did that with
Yeah.
Who Wants to Be a Millionaire and stuff, or not Who Wants to Be a Millionaire.
Yeah,
There's certainly a couple that did that
yeah.
where you'd stay
I think
on.
some of the
one.
quiz ones, maybe like Trivial Pursuit or some ones like that. I think they-
Catchphrase as well was another good one. I
Yeah.
think they kept the contestant
Yeah.
on as well, whoever won.
Yeah. So the first round would be survey question generated by AI. So that'd be OpenAI API that we would use there to generate those questions for Sean to ask. Contestant will be dealt a
Or
random
some other
card.
AI, perhaps. We don't know.
Yeah, maybe.
Depending on the lore. But yeah.
So contestants would then be dealt a random card each. Highest card takes control of the board. Sorry, that's actually going to happen before they get asked the question, right?
Correct.
To see who gets asked the question.
Yeah, so they don't. Sorry, yeah, you're right. They don't actually take control of the board. This is to see who gets to answer
Yes.
the question first, and then the other person has
Highest
to buy or
card.
lore.
So the highest card would be
They would get to answer the survey question first, and the other
Yeah.
person then would have to be higher or lower. Okay, so contestants would be dealt a random card. Each highest card would be the contestant that is asked the initial survey question. Maybe put in survey question just to make that a little more clear. First round would be the survey question generated by AI. Whoever gets that question right, as is the
So let me just break that out. Survey question generated by AI ChatGPT. Okay. Okay, so then after that we go on to the card control phase. So the winning contestant reveals the first card, option 1. So when you're looking at the game board here, you've got contestant 1, let's say card is along the top. They've got their row of cards. I believe it's 5, that's what they said. Here we go, 5 cards.
It was 5, and later on it was 7 to 10. Yeah, because I remember
Yeah.
it was a massive board at one point. There was 10
Yeah.
cards. You had there was like an assistant on each row for each player, and they'd walk
Yeah.
all along the board. So it was much, much bigger than that one that we showed.
Yeah,
as it
yeah.
progressed. So
Yeah, so
I
maybe-
think 10 cards is good. I like 7 to 10.
Yeah. Okay, so we'll say card control phase, that's this one. Okay, so I think we say here, I like the idea.
I'm going to have a
of
foot
having
massage here while we're doing this, if you don't mind.
10
Turn on my foot massager, everybody.
Yes.
Getting comfy.
in the row
There we go.
for each contestant. And they're saying that, okay, option 1, keep it.
Oh, I think we lost you there, Adam. So yeah, I like the idea of having 10 cards in the row for each. And of course, also, depending on the lore that we decide to implement here as well.
Sorry, my daughter there, 1 sec.
It's all good. Take your time. So I think depending on the lore that we decide to use here, we could have special cards in there. Like, let's say, for example, Rico's Revenge, right? He's he's out to rug you. You get Rico's Revenge, and he destroys you. It's from the game we're launching on Ape Church, in case you're not familiar. But it's a slots game, and that's how it works. So like, we could also, depending on the lore item, we could have special character cards that do specific things if we want to add a little extra oomph to the gameplay right over time. But it's something to consider now.
Yeah.
And this is just trying to explain this, because this is kind of how our minds work when we're trying to do this. You want to try and think of all the different things, and then as you go through the process, see is there anywhere you can kind of make alterations to even improve on the game or make it a little more crypto centric, or depending on all the lore that you're going to have. So all right, just a quick run through the prompt here. Again, I'm thinking for this implementation we don't go ahead with the initial round, and we have the 2 players start with the same betting amount. Question: does the contestant from the previous show progress to the next show to take on a new contestant? I think that's right, Adam. Maybe we delete that. Maybe just delete that. I think even if the answer is yes, it's not gonna. I think we need to go this way anyway. Either way, whether they did that or not. Contestants would be dealt a random card each. Highest card would be the contestant that is asked the initial survey question first, and then the survey question would be generated here using Chat GPT. I like the idea of having 10 cards in a row for each contestant. And also, in case anybody's aware, if you're not big into typing, you can use the microphone on there, and that's what I do. So and of course for the purposes of this, we can't really talk to it. It doesn't really work so well when you're live streaming. But what I would usually do, or we would do, is we would just sit down and I'd pull up the microphone and I would just start talking to the AI constantly get it to ask me questions so that we're kind of getting to where we need to be, All right, Adam. So what else have we got there? What else do we want to add to that prompt?
Okay, so I think 10 cards in a row is good. Sorry, one sec.
All right, he's looks like he's having some kitty problems right now, but it's all right.
Yeah. Sorry, just some kid stuff. I think my kid woke up there.
Nightmare.
Yeah, all good. So I like the idea of having 10 cards in a row for each contestant. Yeah, I think that's good. And from what it says here then, so when let's say the contestant answered the question right, reveal his first card. So that's the base card, and the option is to keep it or swap it the next card from the deck. And looking at the game show, they've got like 3 card options to swap out throughout their run. I think. I wonder, can you swap out only 1 card per run? Or can you swap out at any time?
Yeah, well, I know for that initial round, they had the 3 tiers, and then there was 3 cards on each tier, and they could pick whichever card they wanted, 1, 2, or 3, to swap out at some point. As far as the second round goes, I'm not sure exactly how many cards they have available. Maybe, let's say you got 10 cards, and then you got 3 backup cards that you can swap out, but you only get the opportunity to swap out either once or twice of those 3 cards, something like that, if I had to guess.
Yeah.
Okay.
So reveal the first card option, they can keep it or they can swap it with the next card in the deck. So maybe they're allowed to swap out the base card at the very start if they want. So then must call next card higher or lower. Repeat until wrong guess. Same card, rank, auto loss. Player freezes
or freeze, right?
Yeah. So if they get a wrong guess, the game stops. If they get the same card rank, they automatically lose, or they can freeze, or they clear the full row. So that's how it's going to end on that run. One of those 4 things will happen.
Okay, so let's clarify this. If they freeze, what is the advantage to them freezing? Let's say I freeze, obviously it gives control of the board to the next player. But because I froze and, had the foresight to freeze and didn't go ahead, do I get some kind of an extra bonus then when it comes back to me because I did that? Or it's, I just got to go right into, all right, higher low next card again?
So let's see. Here it says freeze mechanic, critical design feature. Freezing stops your run, protects progress. Opponents cannot continue from that point. Your new base card becomes last revealed card. Mechanic prevents runaway look, introduces strategy, creates pacing controls. Basically, cash out versus press your luck.
Okay, so when they freeze, then they don't compete anymore. So once they freeze, they stop, and it's up to the opponent to get further along in the row than them in their goal. Is that correct?
Yes, and I think each time they reveal a card correctly or the correct call, the money that they bet doubles, right?
Mm-hmm. Right.
So they could freeze on that money.
Mm-hmm.
So they're basically it's like taking the offer in Moon or Dust.
Right.
Freezing on that.
Mm-hmm. So that means that basically, let's say I'm playing and I work my way all the way up to card number 7, right? And then I freeze. I will not continue anymore on my run from then. It's like, okay, I think I've hit my limit here. And then it's up to you, for example, to come up and get as far as number 8 to beat me.
Yes, I believe so. So
okay,
then you've got Then you've got the failure state mechanics. If the contestant calls wrong or hits an equal rank, then all cards turned that turn are discarded. Opponent takes control. Opponent must play from the current base card. No swap. Important. This creates punishment asymmetry. Risk taker loses progress. Opponent inherits opportunity. Classic momentum swing mechanic. Win the round by successfully clearing an entire card row. Original format, best 2 out of 3 games. Later, single game for speed TV pacing. And then you've got a sudden death mechanic. So the first player goes ahead and then gets to a point where they freeze. I think the next player takes it from that point.
Really? So so if I got all the way to number 7 card, then you would come in and start at number 7? I don't know. That doesn't make any sense.
No, they've got their own row, so they get to go then. They get to start at their own base cards in, I believe, the exact same as player number 1.
Okay, maybe I misheard you there, or misunderstood you. Okay, so that's basically the concept, right? You've got 10 cards on top. I got 10 cards on bottom. Let's say you get asked the survey question first. You hit the higher card initially, and you get asked the survey question first. You say your number. I say higher or lower. I get it wrong. You go first. You will run along for as long as you can, going higher or lower on each card as it flips. And then once you get to maybe you hit a 7 and you're like, oh shit, I don't know. I don't know. This could go either way. And you freeze.
Yes.
On card numbers. It's 7 in the row. And then it passes over to me. Now I got to get further than you. I got to get to number 8 cards in my row, right? To beat you in this round. Okay. All right. That's that I understand. That's pretty easy to grasp. I hope everybody can understand that as well. I get it. Okay.
Yes. Okay. So I think in our situation, so let's say they freeze. What we want to know is, okay, so the next player starts at their base card. So they have to get further than player number 1 to win the round.
So basically, like, let's say if my 7th card that I flipped, I got it right. Let's say I had a king and I said, okay, my next card is going to be lower. And that turns out to be a 7, and then I freeze. That means that 7 goes, and that's your starting base card that you have to run from, correct?
I believe so, yes. So that's going to be player 2's starting card. But then does player 2 have the option to change that? Or does player 2 lose?
Well, it wouldn't. I mean, that wouldn't make much sense if they can, like, to be able to change out. It kind of invalidates the whole reason that they would have to take that base card. So I think, I'm not sure if there's any swap out cards in the main run of the main kind of head-to-head round, right?
I don't think so.
Okay, that's fine. We can add that swap out mechanic to the final big money round then instead. So there are no swap outs in the head-to-head. It's only when you get to the single player final money round that you would be able to have those swap out options as the 3 cards. I think that works. And you know what I love about this? It's such a nice simplistic game. And I think it's going to be a lot of fun. I think the DJ's going to love it. DJ's going to love this one. Going head-to-head, projects going head-to-head against each other. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. We're an hour and 12 minutes in, guys, and it feels like we've been doing this for about 10 minutes. But that's how this goes, you know. Anybody that's tuning in, of course, this is the PumpFun Hackathon, the Mod Media live build right now. It's okay, I muted you there, Adam. It's good. It's going to be a lot of fun, I think, this one. And I like the simplicity of it, I have to say. Anybody that's tuning in, this is the PumpFun Hackathon Mod Media Live Build. We are moonerdust.media. You can go and check out the website there. We are looking to win this thing. And more so, I just like the idea, because I know a lot of people out there, they think that it's, quite a daunting thing to build something like this. But with the power of AI these days, guys, it's nowhere near as daunting as you think. It is all down to your ability to articulate to the AI, and that's even getting better and better now. It's like your articulation, it learns off of that, but that's getting easier and easier. The AI is getting better at understanding even, slang and this and that. So that's improving the whole time as well. All right, Adam, where are we at there? I unmuted you, I think. I can't. You got to unmute yourself, Adam. It's not allowing me.
Okay,
There we
if
go.
you hear my kids screaming or crying in the background, just take no notice. So I just kind of want to clarify the rounds, how they work with the freezing mechanic and stuff. So I just want to say, explain what happens after the player who answered the initial question correctly freezes on card number 7, for example. Does player 2 start with player 1's
Freeze card, right?
frozen card as
It's a base card.
Base card. Does player 2 ever have the option to freeze? Does player 2 win the round by progressing further than player 1?
For anyone that's curious, my foot massage here is going swimmingly right now. Very comfortable. My feet are feeling good. You need that, when you're sitting at the desk all day.
I think number 7 in the row. Okay. So get some clarification on that, just so we can kind of get the game framework down. I think is going to be beneficial.
All right.
Because all the kind of rounds are going to be the same. So once we have this mechanic kind of cleared up and the exact rules of it, will be good. So I think just run over this prompt. I'm thinking for this implementation, we don't go ahead with the initial round and have 2 players start with the same betting amount. Contestants would be dealt a random card each. Highest card would be the contestant that is asked the initial survey question generated by AI ChatGPT. I like the idea of having 10 cards in a row for each contestant. Explain what happens after the player who answered the initial question correctly freezes on card number 7, for example. Does player 2 start with player 1's frozen card as their base card? Does player 2 ever have the option to freeze? Does player 2 win the round by progressing further than player 1? Passing.
Well, I would imagine that they're never going to have the option to freeze because they either beat how far the first person got, or they don't. Right? They wouldn't like freeze. Or you're thinking if they got to number 8 and froze, and the other person gets an opportunity.
Yes, if they pass the other player, maybe they get an option to freeze after that, or swap a card. Let's ask that too.
Yeah, let's figure that out so we can understand this exactly and make sure that the AI, of course, understands exactly what we're trying to build here. And then we can kind of jump into, once we have the base idea down here, then we can jump into and say, all right, keep asking me questions now, and let's nail this in, lock it in. And the ultimate goal here, everybody, is obviously to concept this out, make sure the AI understands exactly, we understand exactly, to make any necessary edits. And the ultimate goal here is to create the final replit prompt that we're going to put in there to start the build. And once we kind of get to that stage, we can start kind of considering the lore and exactly what we want to do, how we want to integrate it. Do we want to add any extra features to the game, which we'll kind of trash out here as well. And that kind of will all be loosely based around the lore, depending on what that is. So, if we decided to use a whale or go a whole other way, we'll see. Okay, Adam.
Yeah, so I just added in one more additional thing. Does player 2 ever have the option to swap or change a card from the tree at the side? And does player 2 win the round by progressing further than player 1? So let's see. Each of these answers will give us exactly how the
Well,
round works. So,
during this round, I don't think there is 3 cards at the side, is there?
well, the player one gets to change at the very start. So they get a base card and they have the opportunity to swap that if they want. at the very
Okay,
start.
so they do have a couple of cards on the side that they can
Yes.
draw in. Okay, cool. Yeah,
Yes.
let's see what we get here.
So let's see. Let's see what we get. Let's run it. All right. Good.
Good,
You're
you're-
essentially the
go ahead.
original.
Go ahead, Ed.
Oh, I'll let you at that. Yeah, I'll let you at that. Go on.
Okay, so good. You're essentially removing the original front-end trivia round and replacing it with a faster, competitive entry mechanic that keeps pacing tight for live streams while preserving Card Shark's core control, risk ladder, momentum swings. Yeah, and that was exactly kind of the idea of why we wanted to kind of eliminate that. Now, your proposed opening structure validated. Starting phase, step 1, equal bankroll. Both contestants, same starting stake, no advantage. Cleaner for crypto wagering logic later. Good call. Thank you very much. All right, step 2, random single card draw. Each contestant draws 1 card. Highest card gains control of the first survey question. This replaces the traditional trivia challenger. This works because pure randomness equals perceived fairness. Visual drama immediately, no pre-game filler. Beautiful. Step 3, AI survey question. Winner answers numeric survey prediction. Opponent calls higher or lower. Correct player gains card control. This preserves the original control gate. Correct. Now your core scenario. Player 1 wins question. Plays cards. Freezes on card number 7 out of 10. Here's exactly how the original mechanics behave and how they should translate. Number 3, does player 2 start from player 1's frozen card? No, absolutely not. Okay. Each contestant has their own independent row, their own deck, their own progression. The freeze only protects player 1's progress. Player 2 continues their own row from wherever they previously were, usually card number 1 if first turn. Okay, so maybe they both have the option to switch out their base card at that point. Think, freeze locks your ladder, not the opponent's. Yes, okay, we get that. Number 4, does player 2 get to freeze? Yes, and this is critical. Freeze is not tied to who started first, who won the initial question. It's tied to whoever currently controls the cards. So player 2 answers next survey correctly, gains control. Okay, so there's a survey question after each, so they don't just get to go. So when somebody gets the first survey question right, whoever wins that gains control of the board. They freeze, and then it goes to another survey question, right? Is that what I'm understanding here? And then the same person could go again, right? And then I guess they have the opportunity to swap out their card at the start of each turn, maybe. So whoever, like if I got card with 7 value at number 7 card, I froze. Then there was another survey question. I got that right again, and I won that. I can go in and swap out my number 7 card to start at a new base, right? For this turn. Okay, so player 2 answers next server correctly, gains control, can run cards, can freeze whenever strategically useful. Without this, game becomes linear. No risk management, less drama. Freeze must remain universal. Okay, can player 2 swap their base card? Yes, but only when they first gain control from a question. Yeah, okay, so that's answer that. I was right on that. Control gained via survey win. So you can only gain control of the board by answering that survey question correctly, right?
And you can only swap. So
you can only swap in your first turn after winning that survey question, right? Okay, got it.
Yeah.
Control gained via opponent mistake, no swap allowed. Okay, reason prevents excessive randomness correction, maintains consequence for failed runs. So, how player 2 gains the turn? Swap allowed. Win survey question? Yes. Player 1 guesses wrong? No. Keep this rule, it stabilizes fairness. Okay. Number 6, does player 2 win by passing card number 7? Yes. If you keep classic round logic. Win condition. First contestant to clear entire row wins. But strategically, passing opponent's freeze point creates psychological pressure, not automatic victory. Okay. And that's fine. So they just keep going until somebody clears the board. First one to clear it.
Yeah.
Okay, good. Player 1 frozen number 7. Player 2 gets to number 8. Still must clear all 10. If player 2 fails, momentum swings back. Okay, recommended clarification for your version. Since you're going 10 cards, you have 2 viable scoring models. Model A, classic competition, recommended. Winner, first to clear all. Oh, sorry. Classic completion. Sorry, my bad. Winner, first to clear all 10 cards. Freeze, purely defensive. Advantages, clear, familiar structure, best for audience understanding. Model B, positional victory. Round ends when both freezes or time expires. I think we'll run it all the way to the end. I think the classic is better.
Yeah.
Okay, skip down to number 8. Example, full turn flow. Your version opening, both draw a single card. Player 1 highest. Survey question. Player 1 answers. Player 2 calls higher or lower. Player 1 is correct. Player 1 card run. Base card swap allowed. Calls cards. Reaches card number 7. Freezes. Next question. As to player 2. Player 2 wins. Player 2 card run. Swap allowed initially for his first card. His or her first card. Calls higher or lower. May freeze any time. Must clear all 10 to win the round. Number 9, strategic implications of your changes. Faster entry, good for live stream attention span. Higher stakes, equal bankroll, simplifies crypto payout logic. Longer rows, 10 cards increase, tension probability swings, and decision points. AI surveys adds novelty but must ensure balanced distribution, no obvious patterns. 10, critical implementation warning, live stream specific. You must ensure visible card integrity. Audience must trust randomization, no manipulation. Blockchain RNG eventually ideal. Otherwise, crypto audience will distrust outcomes. I mean,
I think one thing about that is, you've got a head-to-head. So the only way you'd be trying to doctor it is if you were favoring one project over another. Which
and look, this and this also was not an issue back in the day. Like, they just had to trust that the game show was doing it fairly.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Nobody got to look under the hood and to clarify that, so all right, crypto audience will distrust outcomes. Crypto audience distrusts everything. So there's no getting around that. Number 11, final
proven innocent.
Yeah, exactly. Number 11, final direct answers. Clean summary. Player 1 freezes on card 7. Does player 2 use that card? No. Can player 2 freeze? Yes, whenever they control the cards. Can player 2 swap a card? Only if they gain control by winning a question. Does player 2 win by passing card 7? No. You must clear all 10 unless you adopt positional scoring, which we're not going to do. Okay, next up. What do you want to do here, Adam?
Yeah, so I think we've got a basic rundown on how a round works. So we've got our initial phase. So we move into the game show. We've got Sean. He's going to introduce it all. Going to bring on the 2 contestants. The 2 contestants are going to introduce themselves. Then we're going to get into the game. They're each going to get a random card. The highest card that they turn over will be the person that is allowed to answer the survey question first. So that's player 1.
So they would give a number. It would be, say, out of 100 people, this was surveyed, or however we work that out. So they will give a number as an answer, and then the other player has to say higher or lower.
Well, yeah. So you'll have the card flip first. They get a random card each. The highest one gets asked a question, which will be the survey question. Like you said, we'll have AI generate some sort of a survey question. We'll obviously, pull it from. Not sure how exactly we're going to pull out a survey question or what way we'll do the questions just yet, but there'll be some sort of a question. It might be a trivia question. It might be, I don't know. We'll
figure it out. But where the answer would have to be a number of some sort. Anyway, the answer would be a number.
The answer would have to be a number. Yes, correct. So it could be the price of something, or it could be the market cap of a crypto token, or I don't know, something like that.
What was the all-time high of Pepe? Like this or that, and there's always higher or lower, right? Something like that. I like that.
Yeah, exactly. We can kind of go down that road. So let's get the framework down anyway first, and then we can kind of dive into those kind of details. So we've got the question survey. It's going to be a number. The other person is going to guess higher or lower. Whoever gets it correct is going to gain control of the board. They'll initially get to swap out their base card. So whatever that is, they can have an option to swap it out because they got the question right. That's the only time you can swap. Then they'll keep going. They're going to have a row of 10, each with their own deck. So that's 52 cards, right? 52 cards each, and then just be randomly shuffled. There'll be 10 put out on the board. And there will be 3 on the side for each contestant. So if they gain control and answer a question correctly, they'll be able to swap out
They'll pick one.
starting
They'll pick
card
one,
at
2, or
that
3
stage.
card to swap it, right?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
so
As
they'll have
long as
3
they get a
options.
question correct.
Correct, and they can only do that for their first go. As soon as they answer the question correct, they take control of the board.
Yes.
Yep.
Yes.
O-
So
okay.
player one will do the run. Whoever got the question correct, we'll say it's player one. They do a little run. Let's say they get up to card number 7, and it turns out to be a 6 or a 7 or an 8, or they're not comfortable with going any further. They can freeze. Then there's another survey question asked by Sean. Whoever gets that question right. So let's say it was player one that got it right again. They now gain back control of the board. So now they have
And they
the
can
option to
swap.
swap out their card that they were on.
That's 7
they
or
were
8 that was
comfortable with.
stuck. Yes.
Correct. Yes. So they can swap that out now. And then they can progress from there. I'm wondering if they swap it out. Let's say they swap out a 5 and they get a 6, or they swap out a 6 and they get a 7.
Mhm.
And they're not comfortable again. Can they freeze right in that moment, or they have
I
to
wouldn't
progress again?
think so. I'd say that at least have to take one turn.
Have to go one.
I would
Okay,
think
yeah,
so,
I think
yeah,
because otherwise it would get seriously.
You could
nothing
just
more,
freeze,
so-
and then you could go, "Oh, I'll try my next card," and then So
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
you have to at least take one move. You have to say higher or lower at least one time in each turn, each go you get.
Yes,
Um,
so they swap out, and then they have to go either higher or lower on that one. So let's say they went higher, they got it correct, and they went lower, they got it correct, and then they freeze again. Then there's going to be another question. Let's say player 2 answered that one correctly. So they get to start on their base card. If they don't like it, they can swap it. Then they have to go on their run until such time as they either hit the end of the 10, or they also can freeze at any point throughout that, and then another question will start. Whoever gets it right gets
So
to
basically
continue.
goes back and
Swap it.
forth. And I guess so. Okay, let's say, they have only 3. So let's say you have only 3 cards that you can pull from, right? So let's say if you have exhausted all those 3 cards, you still haven't hit number 10 and cleared the board. I'd assume that's it. You can freeze, but you can never change your card again. I'm not sure. You wouldn't even want to freeze at that point if all your 3 cards are gone, right?
Yes, I think if you've exhausted your 3 cards, you have to keep going.
You got to keep going. Yeah.
Yeah.
So here's one little extra mechanic that I'm thinking that is a potential to put it in to spice it up and kind of like from the original. What if there was also like a Joker card in there, right? You hit the Joker card, and what it does is it swaps it over, or it ends your run, or that we could have certain trigger cards in there that if you get them, it affects the game in some way. So it would swap it over. Oh, it just swapped it over. The other person gets to run now, and you got to freeze. You're freezing on this.
Yeah.
Something like that. That might be a little extra cool mechanic that we could end in
Yeah.
there, and the lore would depend on that. So, like for example, if we'll just take it. It was Magnus the Whale, right? He would come in and be a Magnus Joker card or whatever you want to call it, and then that would initiate that. Oh, it swaps over. The other person gets to run now, and there's only one of them in each deck. So that's a little
so you go-
extra mechanic you could have.
Yeah, I like it. You have a 1 in 52 chance, maybe, where if you hit this card, it freezes you and gives your opponent control of the board. They can swap even without answering a question.
Right. Correct.
It automatically freezes you and gives your opponent control of the board.
Yeah. I like it. I think
Yeah,
that's a nice
yeah, I like
mechanic
it.
to add in. So maybe let's add this feature in here to GPT now, so that it understands exactly kind of what we want to add. And if anybody is watching, please, if you can think of any other kind of cool little features that might slot into the game without changing the whole mechanic too much, we'd like to hear them. Let us know in the chat there if you're watching. If you got any ideas about how we can add a little extra flavor to what we're doing here to this game. But yeah, I think we're off to a good start here. I like the fact that we've edited out that initial round. I think that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
And adding in a couple of little features here as we go. So we're just vibing out here, and we're going to come up with an absolute doozy here. I've no doubt. I'm getting a good feel for it already. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. I'm excited for this build out, I have to say. All right, so okay, the game rounds are understood. One mechanic we would like to enter is one card in each player's deck that would freeze the player with the current control. So it would actually have to be 53 cards, right? I mean, we can't pull one out of a full deck and swap it for something else. I mean, usually it's 54. You got 2 jokers, right, in a deck if you're playing that way. We can always add as many jokers in as you want. So we'd have, each deck would be 53 cards, basically, and one of those cards would be this feature card, basically, that just gives your opponent full control of the board and freezes you. Let's call it the ice card. Puts you on ice.
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, I like it. Okay, let's lock this in for the initial round anyway, and then I guess I mean I think we're pretty comfortable at that point with the main round, the main head-to-head round, and we got to decide, I guess, do we want it to be a best of 3 or do we want to just, you know, I guess best of 3, right? You'd have 3 rounds max unless somebody wins the first 2, then it's over and they move on to the big money round. So yeah, I mean, I guess best of 3, right? You think that works?
Best of 3, yeah.
Best of 3, a lot of fun in that one. Okay. And then I guess we can kind of move on to the big money round next and kind of lock in how that works or how that's going to work.
Okay, so I'm saying, okay, the game rounds are understood. One mechanic we would like to enter, let's say add, is one card in each player's deck, total 53 in a deck, that would freeze the player with the current control of the board and give the other player control with the option to swap their starting card without answering a question.
I like it. I think GPT's going to like this. Of course he is. GPT never going to turn around and tell you, nah, bro, that's a terrible idea. You're an idiot. I wish it did sometimes, to be honest.
Yeah, tell us when an idea is shit.
Yeah, it's a terrible idea, bro. Don't do it.
But it'll tell you an idea is shit and be completely polite about it. And
oh, yes,
nah,
that's
fuck
true.
that.
Yeah.
Just chew my balls out. If it's shit, just tell me straight up it's shit.
Yes, train your AI to be brutally honest with you, everybody. Make sure when you're starting to chat, just say, hey, no fluff. Don't appease me. Just be brutally honest.
I think you need grok. I think you need grok for that.
Yeah. Well, no, I mean, you can tell GPT how you want it to act and treat you. You know.
Yeah, I think it might be interesting for this build.
Yeah, we'll give GPT some personality here so we can have a bit of a laugh.
All right.
We'll
Okay.
give
So
Rico's personality. All right. Okay. Adam, go ahead. What we got?
Okay. So we got how our one round flows. We're going to add in that other little feature and see how we can implement that. So then we're going on to, we want to say it's going to be the best of 3 rounds, right?
Mm-hmm. Best of 3. I didn't think that was the way the classic game was anyway. It was best of 3.
We do best of 3 rounds. I'll just say, let's just vibe with the AI and get its opinion. What are your thoughts on this for a live stream? For a live stream implementation. Let's just see what it comes back.
I mean,
for that.
yeah, I wonder what a time frame on a round would be. I mean, it all depends on how quick somebody can run. But I mean, I would guess each round would probably take between 5 to 7 minutes, maybe. If I had to guess, just that's a very rough guess. Out of my arse right now.
I am aiming for for roughly 30 minutes total
runtime.
So
all right, of course, if anybody is tuning in right now, we are moonerdust.media and we are doing the live PumpFun Hackathon build. And right now we are just trashing out our next game show build that we're going to do live. We did our last game show. We didn't build it live, like I said, but we did test it live with our community. It was a blast. And we're excited to build this next one. And we're basing this, if you're just tuning in, go back to the earlier stages. We showed a classic 1980s game called Card Sharks. Some of you might remember it, some not. But that's what we're using as our kind of base jump off to create this game. It's good because it's 2-player, it's head to head. Of course, Moon or Dust is just single player taking on our AI whales. Yeah, this one's going to be good, and I think it's a lot more simplistic build as well, what we're going to do here. So yeah, and of course, if you want to see anything, you can see actually the Moon or Dust game show. If you look down there in the prior streams, you can see the coffee coin. Shows Sean there with the whales. This week's contestant is Coffee Coin Space Cat. So you can check out that game show as well. We played a little clip of it too earlier on. So yeah, that's what you can look forward to. What we're ultimately going to come out with is a kind of a high production, live game show, crypto centric. So yeah, appreciate everybody that's tuning in so far. If you're watching after the fact, I hope you save these episodes and you either build along with us, or if you're watching later on, you're building then. But hey, build, learn how to use AI. It's so important. Like I always say, it's not the AI that's going to replace you, it's the people that know how to use it. So upskill, learn AI. That's what we want to do here, is we want to show people how to do it, and so they understand it's really not as daunting as you think. You can do that. You just need to be able to communicate well with it, and that's what we're going to show you how to do. All right, Adam, how are we looking there?
Okay, so if we go, best of 3 rounds, that means that one player needs to win 2 rounds to progress.
To advance.
Then there's also,
they go to the big money round. Yep.
Yes, so what I can see here, a second, pull this up. In condition, sudden death mechanic. Final question is reached. Winner must choose option A, play cards. Option B, force opponent to play without a card swap. Wrong guess is an instant loss. Essentially forced volatility injection, great for television climax. So, play cards. Option B, force opponent to play without a card swap. Wrong guess, instant loss. So how does the final round work? So let's say it's best of 3, and player 1 wins 2 rounds. Then it goes to sudden death mechanic. So what's the
no? I mean, if player 1 wins 2 rounds, he's through. He's won.
You've won. And is there any
if they both win a round,
then you go to the
then
bonus
it goes
round.
to the 3rd round for sudden death playoff. Correct.
Okay. So sudden death mechanic. Final question is reached. Winner must choose.
What do they mean by final question? I thought that just you have as many questions until everybody, either exhausts their swap cards or,
That's what I'm just trying to figure out here. So there's sudden death mechanic. So sudden death would mean that player 1 won a round, player 2 won a round. Then we're down to the final round, which is basically sudden death. So if the final question is reached, so I'd assume that's the survey question for the final sudden death round. Winner must choose. So whoever gets the question answered correctly must choose either to play themselves or force the opponent to play without a card swap.
Gotcha. Okay. Gotcha.
Okay. So a wrong guess is basically an instant loss.
And tell me this. So yeah, if you force them to play their initial run without a card swap, when if they go so far and they freeze and they win the next question, do they have a card swap then as well?
I don't think they can freeze.
In the final round you can't freeze. You just have to run, see how far you get. Is that it?
I don't think so, because whoever gets the question right, basically you decide whether you're going to play the cards yourself and try and get to the end, or you're going to force the opponent to play the cards and try and get to the end. I don't think in sudden death it swaps out, but let's clarify.
And what dictates who gets to make that decision?
Whoever got the question right.
Okay, so they could. Okay, sorry, yeah. So they get the
They
question right.
They decide then whether
either you
they're going to
go
play
for it without a
themselves.
swap, or I'm going to run with a swap.
Yes.
Okay, got it. And then
So
if the
let's
other
get some
opponent fails,
clarification.
if the other opponent fails in that run, the other person automatically wins, or then they got to go next.
Yes.
So the other
They would
person does
automatically-
automatically win if the person doesn't complete all 10 cards. Shit, that's a tough one. I'd just be handing it off to the other person every time. That seems like that's an easy decision to make. It seems like
Well,
if
let's
they just
see.
have
Let's
to go
get
on a
some
straight run.
clarification. Mechanic.
Okay, yeah, let's get some clarification on that.
Assuming both players have one round each. Okay. Who? Okay, so which player is asked the survey question?
Mm-hmm.
How was that decided in a sudden death round? Okay. Play cards. If the player
Okay, so yes, let's get some clarification on sudden death mechanic. Assuming both players have won one round each, which player is asked the survey question? If the player has answers, what's that? Yeah, I think you got a typo there. The player hat answers the question correctly. The player that answers the question correctly decides to play cards. Are they able to swap freeze? Okay.
are they able to swap? Are they able to freeze? If they decide to run it themselves, are they able to swap or are they able to freeze? Any one of those? And then we're saying if they force their opponent, they must be get all the way to the end without freezing or swapping, right?
Mm-hmm.
Just
Yeah, all right. Let's get some clarification on that there so we know exactly.
if they force their opponent to play, must the opponent get all the way to the end without freezing or swapping? To win. Their answer was criticized to play cards are able to swap freeze.
Because that would mean that the person that told the other person that you got to go without a swap, that means they're just like do they even play then in there? I mean, they have to play, right? I mean, they have to.
Well, I suppose it comes down to like in a sudden death round, answering the trivia question or the question correctly is vital at that point.
Mm-hmm.
Because you get full control and you get to decide whether you're going to go on and run yourself or you're going to force the other person to go.
But that's what I mean. Like, so if I force you to run, I don't play at all in that round. Then do I? You either fail or you win. I don't have any control after that point. Is that right?
No, I don't believe so.
I'm not sure if I'm mad about that.
What happens? Well, you're relinquishing control, but you're hamstringing your opponent. Like, and over a run of 10 cards, they're going to at least at some point get in a sticky situation with a mid-level card.
I mean, well, that's what I'm saying is like without a swap at the start and trying to do a 10-card clean run, that's tough.
Yeah.
Like, so I don't see why anybody would say, "Oh, I'll do the run." I would just always say, "No, you do it, bro. Go get him. You got to hit 10 in a row here. Like the chances of that are slim. I got a better chance of winning here if I let you do it and hamstring you." I don't see why anyone choosing any other option because I don't have to play anymore. I don't have to come in and do better than you. Now you just have to, fuck up pretty much. And the chances of that are pretty strong. Like if you go that road, if that's the way it works. So yeah, but we'll get some clarification here now, of course. From it. Of course, anybody that's watching, we are using ChatGPT here to trash out the initial concept of the game and that we're going to be building in with the ultimate goal of creating the replit prompt that we're going to initially put in there. and start to build out the actual game itself.
Okay,
Functionality.
so this is going to be the next prompt.
All right.
Get some clarification on sudden death mechanic. Assuming both players have won one round each, which player is asked the survey question? If the player that answers the question correctly decides to play the cards, are they able to swap or freeze? If they force their opponent to play, must the opponent get all the way to the end without freezing or swapping to win? What are the advantages/disadvantages of forcing the other player to play versus playing yourself? So let's see what ChatGPT gives us for this.
All right. Let's see.
We're coming to the sudden death round, so we're almost through the framework of the game.
Well, we're not. We have the big money round at the end now that we'll trash out after this.
Yes.
Yeah. So the main head-to-head round, the actual meat and potatoes of the game. Okay, understood. We're now in format engineering territory rather than historical explanation. I'll address. Number 1, your new ice card mechanic design analysis and implications. Best of 3 rounds for a 30-minute live stream. Full clarification of the sudden death mechanic historically and how it should translate to your version. Strategic psychology of forcing opponent versus playing yourself. I'll keep this tightly mechanical. The ice card mechanic, 53rd card, your rule, deck equals 52 standard cards plus 1 ice card. When revealed, current player immediately freezes, opponent gains control, opponent may swap base card, no survey question required. This is essentially a momentum disruptor, forced turnover card, and honestly, it fits surprisingly well with Card Shark's DNA. Thank you very much, yes. All right, good. Mechanical benefits. A, prevents runaway leaders. Without it, player hits card 8-9, opponent struggles to catch up. Ice card injects volatility, fairness perception. Crypto audience especially like twist mechanics. Agreed. B, viewer drama spike. When flipped, instant momentum swing. Great for live stream reaction clips. This is TV gold. Yes, it is. C, removes question dependency. Survey questions can stall pacing. This keeps game moving. Potential risks. Over randomization. Too many swing mechanics equals perceived unfairness, but 1 of 53 probability is actually well balanced. Statistically, roughly 1 ice event every 2 to 3 rounds. That's ideal. Recommendation refinement. I strongly suggest ice card counts as revealed card but not progress, meaning doesn't advance ladder, it just flips control, prevents accidental advantage. Okay, so that would mean that then that would have to be replaced with one of the cards that you have, potentially when you're swap cards, when you get regain control.
Yeah, or maybe just, obviously you've only got 10 cards up there and you've got 3 that you can replace with. So, that leaves I don't know, 39 cards left. So you can just pull one out of the deck. If the ice card pops up, a random card gets pulled out of the deck and replaces it.
Okay, so basically we leave the ice card up there until that same person relinquishes control again, regains control again. And then, that would automatically then at the start of their round, instead of having to use the swap card, they just get pulled a random one from the deck to replace the ice card. And then they have the option to swap it. Correct?
Yeah, so they're obviously going through a run, right? And let's say they're on 5, card number 5 is revealed. So now they're going to move card number 6. Card number 6 ends up being the ice card. So that relinquishes control, freezes them on number 5. Another random card from the deck replaces, let's say, the number 6 position face down, so you can't see what it is, and the other player takes control. They're able to swap if they want.
Yeah, so it sticks on number 5. The ice card doesn't advance them, but then it disappears as number 6, and then they got to refill number 6. They're still on number 5, and they have the option
with a face down card. Yes.
Gotcha. Okay, yeah, I like it. Okay, so yes, it doesn't advance the ladder, just flips control. Yes, best of 3 rounds for live stream, 30 minutes is actually a very good target. Let's break runtime realistically. Estimated timing per round, question phase, 6 to 8 questions average, 20 seconds each, 3 minutes. Card play, higher or lower calls, freeze decisions, 4 to 5 minutes. Commentary, banter, live stream reality, 2 to 3 minutes. Total per round, 9 to 11 minutes. Best of 3 total, 25 to 33 minutes. But no, you see, it's not incorporating the final big money round. All right, and maybe we don't even do the big money round. Maybe you just have 2 to 3 rounds, and if you win, you win a jackpot or something, right? We don't have to go to the big money round individual player at all. Maybe we just keep it nice and simplistic. And it's just a straight head-to-head might be a better way to go. What do
And
you
how
think?
will that, how will that work out time wise if, let's say, player one just does a whitewash and wins round one and round two, and that's it? There is no round three. Where does that leave us time wise? Where does that?
I mean, it's the same. It's the same situation, really, with Moon or Dust. Like if someone cashes out early, it's over. So if you have a clean run, you're good.
I think we had one guy that cashed out at like round number 2 on Moon or Dust, right?
That's right.
Just took the money and ran.
I got a good deal. He took it, and that was it. Game over, and happy days. But yeah, I mean, I think that's fine. But I think max we want to hit at 30 minutes. So I think we don't even bother with that final big money round. I think we just go straight head to head, nice and simple. We're adding in that extra ice card mechanic, and maybe we'll come up with another kind of card mechanic or something. Let's see, or some other like way that the game would function. But anyway, let's continue this. The best of 3 works especially well live. Narrative arc, round 1 learning, round 2 adjustment, round 3 high stakes. So yeah, we could actually ramp up each round and give it some kind of an extra, high stakes kind of thing, whatever it would be. Right? Avoids single round flukes. Important for credibility. Keeps betting engagement. Crypto audience love series tension. Verdict strong format choice. Thank you very much. Sudden death mechanic, original rules clarified. This occurs when time runs short or final question of round or tied momentum. You're proposing each player has won 1 round, final deciding round. Good. Who gets the question? Traditionally, the player who did not answer the previous question. Reason, fair alternating control. I think, I think you just do another card flip again for that. Like, because if they both have a round each in the bank, I don't think you want to give just someone because they were the most recent person to answer a question right should have the advantage. I think it should be
in
fair.
A sudden death scenario. Yeah,
I think you just do another card flip if they both have a round each in the bag. You do another card flip there for that sudden death round. I think.
Yeah.
Okay. Reason: fair alternating control for your format. Best option: randomize or alternate bar round. Avoid perceived bias. Yeah, best way to mitigate that, I think, is do another card flip. Can you scroll down another little bit there, please, Adam, while you're typing, so I can continue reading here? Okay, sudden death decision options. Player answering correctly chooses option A. Player play cards themselves. They continue from their current base card. Cannot freeze. Must run until win entire row or fail. Swap allowed. Yes, if they gain control via question. This is consistent. Scroll down another bit.
Player answering correctly chooses option A. Play cards themselves. They can do it from their current base card. Cannot freeze. Must run until win entire row or fail.
Okay. Option B, force opponent to play. Must play their row. Cannot swap base card. Cannot freeze. Must run full ladder. Wrong guess. Immediate round loss. Why remove freeze in sudden death? Because freeze equals defensive mechanics. Sudden death forces resolution, prevents stalling. Critical for TV pacing. Strategic decision, force versus play. This is where game theory comes in. Play yourself, advantages. If you have strong base card, 6 to 8 ideal. Momentum advantage, short ladder remaining. You control outcome. Lower variance, risks. Personal responsibility, no bailout, psychological pressure high. Force opponent, advantages best when opponent has bad base card, 2 king. So the base cards are there for everybody to see at the start then, right? So you can see each other's base cards. Okay. 2 king ace extremes, right? Long ladder remaining, visible nerves. You exploit weakness. Okay, keep scrolling there, Adam. Risks, they get lucky. Audience sees you as passive. Psychological optics matter live. How this should translate to your crypto version. Honestly, your version may benefit from sudden death variant recommendation. If tied 1-1, final round shorter ladder. Example 7 cards. Ice cards still active. No freezes after question 5. This ensures faster climax, maintains drama. One very important live stream insight, crypto audience psychology. They prefer visible randomness, clear rules, fast resolution. Too much freeze, stall, viewership drops, so sudden death is essential. Okay, I'm still a little unsure the fact that like one person plays and the other doesn't. in the final round. So I'm not really sure.
So there's advantages and disadvantages to both. You know what I mean? So
But you're still in the position. Okay, let's say like, great, I got a 2, right, and you got a 7, right, and I say, go for it, because I guess you could lose right away. But I mean, the chances of getting a 10 streak run in one go, like, they have to be super slim. Like, I mean, no matter how bad the other even if they had an ace, if you had an ace and I had the option to either let you run or me run, and if you lose, I win, I would tell you to run every time, because
But
the
we've
chances
got-
of you getting all the way to the end are slim.
but it's saying short ladder remaining. So if for a sudden death round, you shorten the ladder to 7.
Okay. All right, that might work a bit easier. Okay.
Like if we look over it again, play yourself, right? The advantages. If you have a strong base card 6 to 8, because you can see your base card already before you make the decision, and you can see your opponent's base card, right? Because you got the question right.
Mm-hmm.
You can see each other's base cards. But let's just clarify that, but I would assume you can. So then you get to decide to go yourself or let your opponent go without being able to flip. So like you could knock your opponent out if they've got a shit base card, so 5 or 6 at the beginning. You could just say, oh yeah, I can let them go for it. They have a 50-50 chance of knocking themselves out with a 5 or a 6 on their base card. So say, okay, let my opponent go for it in that instance. But if your opponent has an ace, then you're probably going to say, no, I'll go myself.
Yeah, but I mean, what if you got a 7?
Well, but you're able to swap out if you go yourself, right?
Right.
So
Yeah,
you can swap your own 7.
Yeah, I mean, I get it. What would you do? Let's say if I had
Depends on the base card.
Okay, well, let's say if I had a 7, let's say if I had an ace and you had a 7, and we both have to do the same. We both have to get a 7 streak without messing up.
Yeah.
Would you go yourself with the ace?
I'd go myself with the ace, yeah.
And then your next card was a 7.
That's the risk you take.
Well, I know, but that's kind of like why I would always be like, you know what?
Well, you or your opponent are going to end up in a similar position, because if your first card is an ace, say, okay, well, I'm obviously going to get the card 2 because I'm going to go lower.
Mm-hmm.
And if your opponent's card is a 7, then like already they're in an awkward position straight away. They can knock themselves out immediately.
Yes.
So at that point, it's a kind of a coin flip. But let's say it's the other way around. If your opponent's card is an ace, they're saying, all right, well, they're definitely going to get to number 2, without a doubt. So then you're deciding, okay, I'm going to let my opponent get to number 2, or am I going to go myself and swap out my 7 and see what I get? So you probably end up saying, okay, I'm going to go myself.
Yeah, but if you
not going to let them get number 2, they could get they could get a 2, and then they just have to go higher, and then they're on to card number 3, and it's all
but they still have to
psychological.
get all the way to number 7. Like that.
Well, they do, but so do you. But who's got the better
But only
start?
one of you. But only one of you can do it, though, right? Only one of you actually gets to do the run.
Yes.
So that's why I'm always thinking, like, this is my own personal thought. I mean, maybe I'm wrong, but I would always be like, you do it. You do it, because the chances of you getting all the way to the end without fucking up one time, I don't know. Maybe it's just me.
Well, it all depends. Like, and your starting base card will decide psychologically for you whether you want to run it yourself or you want to let them go and trip it up.
Yeah.
Because they can't swap. So the base card will put you in a mental state where you're thinking, yeah, fuck it, I'll go for it here. I've got a good start. I'm going to hit start here. And, rather than if they had a king, he was thinking, all right, well, they've got a head start on me now. How I need to take control here and go and fucking run it myself.
Yeah. I mean, I'm just thinking of my own, what I would do. I'd be like, what are the chances of this guy getting 7 right in a row here, even if he starts with an ace? That's my thought. But I guess everyone will have their own decision. Yes. Same chances as you do. Okay, so yeah, let's
Yeah.
keep moving on here. What else we
Okay,
got?
so yeah, play yourself the advantage. Strong base card 6 to 8, ideal. Momentum advantage, short ladder remaining. You control the outcome, lower variance, risks. Personal responsibility, no bailout, psychological pressure is high. So that's playing yourself. It's the advantage of playing yourself if you have a strong base card, 6 to 8. That's not a strong base card, that's a shit base card. Or am I reading this
Hold
wrong?
on.
With a strong base
Players
card,
advantage if you have a strong base card.
6
No,
to 8, that's a shit base card.
that's a shit base card. That like a strong base card is an ace, or a 2,
Yeah.
or a king. Okay, so maybe we might need to correct that. And there you go, everybody. Hold on, my camera's off. There you go, everybody. That is exactly why you always need to keep an eye on the AI, because sometimes it can like get a little confused. So we're here, Adam. You can see he's going to strong base card 68 ideal. Clarify how this is strong. Yeah, okay. Yeah, 68 are the worst cards you could get. So I think it they can made a little mistake right there. No doubt. All right, so
Okay. You control the risk, first of all, you know, bailout, psychological pressure. Okay, so if you force the opponent to go, the advantage is best when opponent has a bad base card, 2 or a king.
yeah, so it's messing that up
Long
there.
ladder remaining, visible nerves, you exploit weakness.
It's arse over tit, as we would say.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, so it needs to clarify that and get that right. That's a good base, and the bad
Risk.
base you have mixed up there.
You get
GPT.
lucky.
Okay.
Okay, let's say are your good versus bad base cards mixed up? Okay,
All right.
I think we need to clarify that before we go too much further. To be honest.
Yes, just send it that now, and let's see what it comes back with, because that's important.
Yep. All right. So, good questions. This gets into probability literacy and format clarity, which is essential if you want this to feel fair and credible on live stream. I'll address each cleanly. Sudden date entry via random cards. Proposal. Draw 2 random cards. Highest answer is the question, same as the beginning. Solid design, how it works. Neutral control assignment. Removes perceived bias. No carryover advantage. Pure randomness. Viewers understand instantly. Visually dramatic. 2 card draw. Instant tension. Faster than survey only entry. Keep spacing tight. Recommendation: use face up, draw on screen for transparency. Should players see each other's base cards? Original card charts? Yes, always visible. This is very important. Reasons: visibility matters. Strategic depth. If player 1 base card is king, player 2 knows, likely downward call. Risk profile. Hidden cards would remove strategy. B. Viewer engagement. Audience plays along mentally. That's part of the magic. C. Prevents suspicion. Crypto audience especially. Transparency is trust. Hidden cards is accusations. Fuck yeah, that's the truth. Recommendation: always show both base cards. Current ladder progress. Ice card. Event clearly flagged. This should be visually obvious. 3. Strong base card clarification. You caught a nuance. Let's break the math properly. Card probability reality. Assume full deck, no counting. Middle card 6 to 9 range. Balanced probabilities. Example base. Your base card is 7. Your higher cards are 8, 9, 10, Jack, Queen, King, Ace. 7 ranks. Lower cards are 2, 3, Hello? Can you hear me? I can't hear you. There's no sound coming through here at all. StreamYard, I think, is... My audio test is working, but I can't hear you at all, Mr. B.
Oh, can you hear me now?
I can hear you now. I think you've been talking,
Oh.
but muted.
Oh, I'm not sure how that happened. Man, StreamYard is so annoying. All right. It sometimes it changes my audio settings. It changes my where the audio is coming in. It changes my microphone settings sometimes, just totally randomly. So I do apologize for that. Anybody that is watching. But yeah, that happens from time to time. But
Yeah,
that was-
StreamYard just completely shut down for me. It just like booted me out of the stream, and then I came in and I couldn't hear you talking, and I thought there was something wrong with me. It was something wrong with StreamYard. Just, I don't know, we got to look into OBS for this.
Yeah, we're going to have a look at OBS after this and see if there's some... But I mean, the stream seems to have been running fine. It's just what I notice is the chat. I don't know. Sometimes I can see the messages. Sometimes I can't. It just does its own thing sometimes. So yeah, we can look into that for sure. All right, Adam, we are about 2 hours and 15 minutes into this first development show. So maybe we finalize these last few things and we get pretty much right there. I was just thinking too, because I was talking there for ages about it. You know, I think you know, cutting out the first round and the last round is a smart thing to do for time constraints. And I was also thinking that maybe, you know, at the start we're saying each person starts with the same amount of money or whatever, right? But I don't think we even need that. I think you either win the round higher or lower, or you don't. And then if you get to the end, you win a certain amount of money or whatever the jackpot is or something. You know?
Yeah, the winner gets the jackpot. I think for this
winner gets the jackpot.
There you go.
Yeah, I think that's better. So let's share this screen here now for this final round up here, guys, and see where we're at. All right, Adam, let's give an update on where we're at. And thanks SFC for calling that out. I don't know what's going on here. Sometimes the audio gets a little funky on StreamYard, so appreciate that.
And I wasn't there to tell you.
Yeah, because you got booted, and probably when you got booted, it's probably to do with the back room we're in. So when you got booted from StreamYard, it kind of messed up my audio at the same time for some reason. StreamYard, get it together, god damn it. All right.
Okay, so I think our as it's saying, our nuance that we have come across here, you kind of nuance it says. So we're thinking, okay, well, you know, isn't a good base card to start with is an ace or a 2, because you're obviously going to get to number 2. If you've got an ace, it's definitely going to be lower. If you're 2, it's definitely going to be higher. So card probability, reality. Assume a full deck, no counting. Middle card, 6 to 9 range. Balance probabilities, example, if your base card to start with is 7, your higher cards are 8, 9, 10, Jack, Queen, King, Ace, 7 ranks. Lower cards, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 5 ranks. So slight higher bias, but flexible either direction. This flexibility is key. Extreme cards, ace or 2. These are one-way cards. Ace, almost certainly lower. 2, almost certainly higher.
There's no almost.
Yeah, it is.
It's certainly.
Yes.
So
sounds strong, but there's a catch. Let's see the AI catch. Why extremes are actually riskier long term? Because they remove flexibility. You basically have one call. Increase streak risk. After first correct guess, next base card could be mid-range. Momentum is harder to sustain. Example, start with an ace, call lower, good. Now the base is 9. Probability, suddenly more balanced. Your advantage evaporates. Why middle cards are preferred strategically? Flexibility, you can read opponent momentum, Adjust risk tolerance, freeze
That's not correct.
intelligence.
That is not accurate.
Extreme cards force decisions, middle cards allow decisions. That's why 6 to 8 often considered ideal starting base. So our ace isn't too strong. Depends on objective. Short burst run, yes. Full ladder completion, not necessarily. They often create early volatility. Quick probability snapshot, assuming random unseen deck. Base card is an ace. Lower. Then base card is a king, lower. Base card is a 10 to an 8, flexible. 7 to 6, flexible. 5 to 3, flexible. 2.
Yeah, but it's not taking into account the probability of you getting it wrong, which is the killer, right? If you get it wrong, then you're done, right? So it's not like, that's why it's not understanding the logic here correctly from what I can see.
Well, I mean,
but the goal
just
is to
looking-
get the next one right? The goal is to get the higher or lower right, and the chances of you getting, if you have an ace, the chances of you getting your next one right is 100%, unless you are retarded and you say, higher.
yes.
Right.
Yes,
So it's 100% correct. Like, that is a guaranteed flip of
Yeah.
the next card. So like, it doesn't seem to be comprehending that correctly.
Well, let's read on. In your crypto live stream context, this matters more because audience perception, they'll assume ace is the strongest. But statistically, it's situational. If you explain this on a show, it adds educational value, good retention to it. Final direct answer, sudden death, entry via random card draw, excellent idea, fair and dramatic. Should base cards be available? Yes, always. Transparency and strategy. Are 6 to 8 strong base cards? Yes, due to flexibility, not certainty.
Certainty is what you want. That's what it's not.
Are ace too
understanding.
strong? Situationally strong, but less adaptable. Dynamics up good versus bad cards? No, but strength depends on ladder length, risk tolerance, and game phase. So that's AI logic right there for you. So it's
so
running the
you-
numbers.
Yeah, you basically need to tell the AI now and say, look, certainty is what you're after, not flexibility. It's getting that wrong. You want certainty that the next card you flip is going to be exactly what you want it to be, lower or higher. The only cards that can guarantee that is a 2 and an ace. So there you go, people. There's an exact example.
Unless you get another ace.
Unless you get another
What
ace,
does that
in
do?
which case, well, you just move on. You just go on to the next one, and you go higher or lower again. It sticks as far as I'm aware. That's what he was saying in the clip we watched earlier in the show. So you were asking, are we not after certainty? Example, ace equals 100%, the next card is lower. 2 equals 100%, the next card is higher. These are the strongest cards that you can get. Clearly. So yeah, that's interesting. I'm surprised. I'm actually surprised, GPT, because we've talked about pretty complex shit, and I mean that's a clanger right there. But hey, it's always good to be sure and watch what your AI is telling you.
Well, let's see. Let's just run this simple question to it here and see what it comes back with.
Let's see what kind of logic it's going to spit at us here.
So I said, are we not after certainty? Example, ace is 100%, the next card is lower. 2 equals 100%, the next card is higher. Strongest cards. The goal is to progress on the ladder no matter what. Short answer, no. Ace and 2 are not 100% certainty, and they're not automatically the strongest cards if the objective is clearing a multi-card ladder. That intuition comes from thinking in single-step probability, while the game actually rewards sustained probability over multiple steps. Let's break it down precisely. First, correction. Ace 2 are not 100% safe, even ignoring duplicates already revealed. We just answered that. The base card is an ace. 3 aces remain. It's a tie. It was automatic loss in classic rules. Oh, so you do, if you get the same card, you lose. 48
really?
lower cards, 0 higher cards. Okay, well I thought you just moved on.
I thought that's
to
what
the
he
next
said in the clip we watched. Like he said, he literally said that. He said, you know, if you get the same
Yeah.
card again, it's just sticks and we move to the next one.
Yes, he did say that. So that is in classic rules. So maybe we're not in classic rules with that episode that we watched. So probability next card door is roughly
Well,
50,
they obviously
48, 51.
they got rid of that from the earlier classic because it doesn't
Yeah.
it doesn't seem to me like it's a smart thing to do in the game, and I'm sure that's why they got rid of it later on. Okay, so tell it that we do not want that. We just want it if you get the same card again, then you just move on to the next one. You get to pick higher or lower again. On that, obviously you're going to pick the same choice, but you know it's just a. Okay, 3 as remain equals tie, automatic loss in classic rules. What was the next set of rules after classic? Revealing the same card. There moves on.
Okay, let's see. Trace red tie. Okay, so probably the next card 48, 94.1%, not 100. Same logic for 2. 48 higher cards, 3 2s cause tie loss. Okay, we addressed that.
Okay, so that's why it was getting it wrong, is because you know, it was based on the classic rules, and the clip we watched does not have that rule in it.
Yes. But ladder games aren't about one step. Your format, 10 cards in a row, multiple decisions, freeze mechanic, ice card volatility. So you're optimizing. Expect progression, not single flip safety. That's a different objective. Why middle cards often perform better? Flexibility, survivability. Example, start with an ace, call lower, high probability success. The next base card likely mid-range. Now, risk increases sharply. You lost flexibility. Start with a 7. You have slight bias higher. Still decent lower chance. You can adapt dynamically, freeze optimally, manage risk. That flexibility compounds over multiple steps. Then think of it like options trading, not gambling, probability management. Ace 2, high certainty single trade. Middle cards, balanced portfolio. For a 10 card ladder, portfolio wins. Freeze mechanic changes everything. Key point, if Ace truly dominated, players would never freeze, but in reality, they often freeze after a few safe steps because risk accumulates. Ice card exists in your version. Survey control shifts. For a specific goal, progress no matter what, then optimal strategy becomes step safety first, not theoretical strength. So in scenario, best base card, Ace or 2, 1 flip survival, Ace or 2. Multi-card ladder 6 to 9 range. Late ladder push depends on visible cards. This isn't contradiction, it's horizon effect. Real statistical insight. Expect run length depends on card distribution remaining, tie loss rules, control mechanics, swap opportunities. Extreme cards reduce variance short term, increase variance long term. Important for your live stream show. Viewers will instantly think Ace equals best. You can leverage this counter education, strategy discussion engagement. That's actually content gold. In your crypto version specifically, because you added the ice card, extreme base cards lose some value because momentum can be forcibly broken. Ladder completion probability drops. That pushes optimal strategy even more toward flexible base cards. Bottom line, if the goal is safest immediate flip, Ace or 2 strongest. If the goal is clearing long ladder, middle cards are often better overall. If the goal is maximizing win probability, depends on current ladder position, opponent status, remaining deck, ice card risk. So, I guess it all depends. If you're at the start and you're able to swap, and you've got a mid-range card, then you know you're going to get one of the mid-range cards off the board when you've got a 10-rung ladder in front of you.
Mm-hmm.
So that reduces the possibility of hitting one of them again.
Mm-hmm.
So you can swap it out.
Mm-hmm.
So getting the mid-range cards out of the way earlier increases your chances of getting to the end of the ladder.
Right, but I mean, you're talking about having to. But if you're talking about your mid-range cards, like you're talking about what, like 5 or 6, 7, 8, something like that. So that's a
Yeah.
total of 12 cards, right? That you're trying to have to clear. There's only 10 cards on the board. You know, I mean,
Yeah.
obviously the probability goes up, but it's so minute. You know.
Yeah.
But again, that's the classic rule. So, I mean, what do you think? Do you think, like, if I have an ace and I start off an ace and I get my next card and it's a 6 or a 7, like, what would you do? Would you freeze or would you just gamble it?
Well, I guess it depends on the stage of the game, depends on the round.
Right.
If it's round 1, I'd probably drive on, take a swing at it.
Mm-hmm.
If it's round 2 in the game, and I'm down a round, I'd have to think twice.
So, do you agree with the AI that ace and 2 are not the strongest cards?
Depends on the round and the position you're in, I would say.
Mm-hmm.
To make you decide what you're going to do. The length of the ladder. So if the ladder is shorter, yes, it's the way to go. Just balls out, you're going for a sprint.
Mm-hmm.
If the ladder is longer, and let's say your base card is a mid-range card to start with, and you're able to change it, then you're taking one off the board. That's more problematic.
Yeah. I mean, I get that, and that would be smart to do. Like, you get a mid-range card to start, and 9 out of 10, 10 out of 10 people will probably swap it.
Yeah.
But if you have an ace or a 2, you know, that's a guaranteed next card flip
Yeah.
for your run. So what's the alternative here? If it's saying that's the classic rules, then what, you know, let's continue.
Let's ask it.
Yeah, let's ask it here.
I have
But
3.
plus, it's saying that if you get an ace after another ace, then that's an automatic loss.
That's what it's saying here. So it says 3 aces remain equals tie equals automatic loss in classic rules. So I'm saying, what was the next set of rules after classic? Revealing the same card, player moves on.
Mm-hmm. All right, check it out. Let's see what it gives us here. Good catch, because the same card rule actually changed across different Card Sharks versions, and that materially affects probability, pacing, and perceived fairness. If you're building a modern live stream variant, the decision matters a lot. I'll walk you through the evolution clearly. All right, we don't need to go into the full evolution here. Just tell us. Just give us a straight answer here. Go to the very bottom. We'll usually do a recap.
Given options here.
Okay. Option A, classic. Tie equals loss. Pros, high drama, faster rounds, more volatility. Crypto audience likes this. Cons, perceived unfairness, harder ladder completion. Option B, push rule. My recommendation. Pros, more strategic depth, less RNG frustration, longer suspenseful runs. Cons, slightly slower pacing. Your ice card already adds volatility, so push balances nicely. Interaction with your ice card important. If you keep tie equals loss and ice card, game may become too swingy. Push rule stabilizes that. Sudden death consideration. Strong recommendations. Even if using push normally, sudden death return to tie equals loss. Why? Forces decisive ending, prevents stalemate. Strategic impact comparison. Rule, tie equals loss. Aggression initiative lower. Ladder completion harder. Push, aggression is higher. Ladder completion is easier. Push encourages bold play. Better TV. Yeah, I think we go with the push. I think the push is better.
Yeah, I agree.
Because like it said, we do have the ice card in there as well. So, you know, that adds to that, that extra bit of volatility. And that was that was the AI's recommendation anyway, right?
Yeah.
Was to go with that one. Okay, good. That's exactly what we want. All right. Of course, anybody that is watching, we're probably going to be wrapping up soon here. We are at 2.5 hours long so far, and this has been mostly going back and forth with ChatGPT here, locking in the concept of the game show that we're going to be building. So yeah, this is quite the process. It's if you're not into it, whatever, it can be a little tedious, but if this is something you're really passionate about, ironing this out and making sure that your planning is perfect and you leave no stone unturned will allow for a much easier build in the long run. So it's very, very important that you iron out these tiny, fine, intricate details before you even push anything to Replit, because it'll make your job a lot easier, right, Adam?
Well, exactly, because when we're ironing out here, what we want to end up with here is our GDD, which is our game design document. And we want everything mapped out exactly how we want the game to play, the mechanics, the rules, all that kind of stuff. So you have to get your game design document down off the bat so that you can actually attach that in. You can have your prompt, and you also attach your game design document in Replit when you're going. And that game design document will be there till the very end. Now, that doesn't mean that the game design document won't change. It most likely will change as you're building the game out, and we kind of start playing it with the audience and all the different things. We might make some alterations, we might make some adjustments, but having an original game design document is vital to this, so that you've got a clear view in your mind, and then it's documented for the agent exactly how the game works, how the game flows, and the rules of the game. So it's vital to get that down first. Doesn't mean it's set in stone, but you need to set it in stone at the start so that you can build your prompt from it, and you can attach it in, so it'll always be in your files, part of your game files. So you have your original game design document, and as you change stuff, and maybe you might change a rule here when you start playing it, you can have your agent update your game design document to make sure that it still stays current and reflects the game that you currently have built as you change stuff, if you change stuff, and I can guarantee you that stuff will change. So yes, it's vital. Your sound isn't coming through there, Jay.
Oh yeah, sorry, absolutely. It's so important, because look, any house or anything that you want to stand needs a solid foundation, and this is basically the foundation. So putting in this extra work early on and teasing everything out as much as possible is vital to get you going. Strong foundation means you're going to have a really strong end product, and it'll save you a lot of headache as you're building out. Okay, so we've locked that in, Adam.
Yes, there's one thing that I'd recommended here. My professional recommendation for your format: given the ice card mechanic, 10-card ladder, live stream pacing, crypto audience, use main game push rule, sudden death, tie is a loss. So
See, I don't like that you changed that rule, because it's a little bit confusing.
I don't either. It'll confuse people. There's enough stuff to take in here besides saying, "Oh, it's sudden death now." So if you, it's just too much explaining. It's boring.
Yeah. Let's not. That rule has to maintain. The push rule has to maintain, I think, throughout. So let's just be sure and lock that in. I think anybody who's watching, I think you'll agree that, like, if you're playing a game show and all of a sudden the main base rule completely changes for a round that is pretty much similar. Yeah, it's sudden death, but that's a big rule to change just for one round out of 3. So I think I don't think that's a good idea.
Now, even though the AI suggested it, and this is how you will now learn about AI, how it always wants to please you, even though it suggested this as its recommendation, and now we're going to take a big fat shit on it and say, no, it's boring and that's not a good idea. It'll say, oh, you're exactly right, and I'll tell you why.
Yeah, I'll tell you why he was wrong. It was wrong. It was wrong.
Yes, so I'm saying let's go with the recommendation push. Are you suggesting to use tie equals loss? Let's keep the push rule throughout. We don't want to be changing fundamentals. Too much explaining, boring. Okay, so let's see Yeah, you're totally right. I'm an idiot. I'm totally wrong. So there
Yeah,
we
let's
go.
see. Let's on GPT. Good call.
Good call.
All right. Okay, good call. Rule consistency beats cleverness in a live stream format. Viewers should grasp the game instantly and not have to mentally switch rule sets mid-show. So yes, keep the push rule everywhere, including sudden death. Do not revert to tie loss at any stage. That keeps cognitive load low for viewers. Contestants stress focused on strategy, not rule interpretation. Commentary smoother, less rule explanation airtime. Now let's clarify exactly how push should function in your version so there's no ambiguity. Finalize push rule your version when the same rank appears. Example, base card 9, next card 9 result, no progress on the ladder. Player retains control. Same base card remains active. Player must call again, higher or lower. So is that what we're doing then? So he doesn't progress on the ladder. So that 9 that appeared that second 9 would just disappear and they'd have to go again. I mean, I think it progresses you.
Yeah, I think you're pressing it. It makes it's a good thing to get the same card.
Right, exactly. Because it's rare. It's rare to do that. There's only 4 hitting them back to back. That's a rare occurrence.
Plus, from the original game, we've added an ice card, which is obviously bad. So if we make this thing good, it's going to make that balance. It's going to bring that balance back.
Yes, I agree. So yeah, let's not eliminate the card if you double. You should be rewarded for that, for hitting a double, not punished. Yes, okay, that's good. We're getting through it here now. And of course, as everybody has seen, you gotta keep an eye on the AI. It does not always get things right. You gotta really, really think about exactly and put yourself in the position of the player, right? Of the viewer, of the host, of everybody that's involved, right? Is it enjoyable? Does it make sense? Does it take me out of my element? If I'm the player, now the rule changes, I got to readjust everything now, and I shouldn't have to do that. I should just be in the flow state, in the zone, while you're playing and not have to think about anything other than, am I going higher or am I going lower? Like, that's it. And hey, if I hit a double, woo, that's great. That's a rare thing. Should be rewarded for that. And like you said, there's a very good point. It balances out the ice card, which comes in. So, yeah, I like having that unknown in there, for sure. So we're coming in on 2 hours and 41 minutes, and I swear this has not felt any longer than an hour, as far as but that's how it goes, That's when you're in the zone here and you're just bouncing back and forth. And everybody, this is our legit process. This is literally how we build every game. We'll sit down. One of us will be on ChatGPT. Either we'll be talking to it or we'll be just spitballing here back and forth, and we'll tease everything out to the nth degree and leave no stone unturned until we totally understand the game. The AI totally understands the game. We're all on the same page, and then we will have our strong foundation for our repl prompt. All right, Adam. Adam has the prompt in here. I think that we progress on the ladder if a player reveals the same card. Reasoning. We have introduced the ice card. Having the same card reveal should reward the player to provide balance back to the original mechanic. Would you agree? Let's see.
Of course it's going to agree. It'll always agree with you.
Yes! That's actually a defensible design adjustment given your ice card mechanic, but it changes the game more than it might seem. So let's evaluate it properly from a game design probability and broadcast perspective. Short answer first. Yes. Allowing same rank cards to advance the ladder can rebalance volatility introduced by the ice card, provided you implement it cleanly. But you should understand the mechanical consequences before locking it in. What you're proposing, clarified mechanically. Current candidate rule. If next card equals same rank, player advances 1 step on the ladder, player retains control, base card becomes the newly revealed card, same rank, player continues normally. Effectively, same card equals bonus safe progression. That's different from both. Classic loss rule, push/no progress rule. This is a third mechanic. Why this makes sense with the ice card. Your ice card, random forced freeze, momentum breaker, control turnover. That increases variance. Without compensation, runs become harder. Players feel punished by randomness, allowing equal cards to advance. Slightly lowers variance. Again, that's solid balancing logic. You're basically adding one chaos mechanic plus one stabilizing mechanic. That's good design symmetry. 3, probability impact, important. In a standard deck, probability of same rank equals 3 of 51, 6%. So roughly one beneficial same rank every 16 flips. That's rare enough to feel special, but not dominant. This creates, sorry, I lost that there. Where was I at? But
Creates
not daily threats. This
occasional
creates
momentum boost.
occasional momentum boosts, which viewers enjoy. 4, psychological impact on players and viewers. This rule feels rewarding instead of, oh no, duplicate. You get nice free step. Exactly. That's what you want to feel like. That's a good thing. A pair, a 3 of a kind, 4 of a kind. These are always things that get rewarded. So, that does make, we got to reward people for it. Positive reinforcement improves engagement. B, reduces perceived RNG unfairness, especially important with crypto audience, live stream transparency. They prefer rewarded randomness over punitive randomness. C, creates highlight moments. Equal card advancement will trigger reactions, generate clips, increase shareability, good broadcast value. 5, strategic impact. This subtly changes optimal play. Middle cards become even stronger because equal card now beneficial. Flexible direction, still valuable. Extreme card, still safe. First flip, but less uniquely advantageous. That improves balance. 6, interaction with freeze mechanic. This becomes interesting. Example, player at card number 8 gets same rank now at number 9, risk-free. Decision. Decision, freeze or continue. That's a great tension point. I'd absolutely keep freeze allowed after same rank. Interaction with sudden death. This works fine if freeze remains disallowed. In sudden death, same rank still counts as advancement. Otherwise, sudden death could stall, but statistically, it's unlikely to stall much. 8, potential downsides you should consider. A, slightly easier ladder completion. That's fine. I'm not mad at that. Not dramatically, but noticeable. This could shorten rounds, increase win frequency. Given ice card volatility, probably acceptable. B, needs very clear explanation once, but after that, very intuitive. Same card, you're safe and move forward. Easy. And that was in the clip we watched. My professional recommendation, given your full design stack, ice card volatility, live stream pacing goals, crypto audience expectations, 10 card ladder length. Yes, I agree with implementing same card advancement. It creates better balance, more excitement, less perceived unfairness, and it modernizes the format. All right, there we go. We're on the same page. Clean final rule wording, lockable. You could formalize as, if a card of identical rank is revealed, the contestant advances one position on the board and retains control. The revealed card becomes the new base card. Yes, easy. One extra optional advancement worth considering. Visually treat same rank hits as safe step or lucky match. Brandable moment, but optional. Yeah, I like that. You can call it a lucky match. You can call it whatever. Safe step. I like it. Bottom line, all good. Yeah, when ready, next logic step. Yeah, so I think that's good. So Adam, I think we're kind of pretty much there, right? As far as the actual meat and potatoes of the game. I think, we cut out the initial money that people would use to bet. We don't need that. It's just higher or lower all the way through. Whoever wins out of the best of the 2 of the 3 rounds is the one who takes home the prize, whatever that would be. And I think that's the game. I think that's the best way to do this. What do you think?
Yes, I think that's a solid mechanic that we've got down there. We've kind of trashed it back and forth. So we've got our base game structure kind of laid out, head-to-head opponents. We've got some questions in there. If somebody at the very start of the game, we've got questions in the middle, which brings the host into it. It adds another dynamic. So if somebody freezes, okay, question time. We've got some volatility in there with the ice card. We've got some the extra advancement, a free step on the ladder with the same card. So you're kind of cancel that, adds in that nice kind of a balance there. We've got the best of 3, and obviously we'll start playing this with the audience and stuff once we get to that point, and we'll see how long the rounds are lasting on average. We'll see, do we need to add in something else? Do we need to extend it a little bit more? Because obviously you want to kind of give that bit of value as well, that entertainment value, because you're going to have a lot of production, people taking time out of their day. You don't want it over in 10 minutes. And and even on our end, getting everything set up, getting contestants geared up, hyping it up. You got to think about all that kind of stuff too. When you're bringing on 2 communities, 2 projects to go head to head, next thing it's over in 10 minutes. So you're going, oh, well, that was shit. So we got to make sure there's meat and potatoes there. Yeah, completely. So I think we've got a good framework down. So I think the next thing is we'll look into our getting our game design document tomorrow. We'll start kind of finalizing that, get that put together in a PDF. We'll get ChatGPT to spit out a Replit prompt, and we'll start talking about the lore, I believe, which is Mr. P's probably most favorite part of the whole thing.
I like it all. But yeah.
So we kind of get the lore together. We'll tie it into mod media in some way. I know we've already got our 3 sharks. We've used
3 whales
already. Our 3 whales. Shit, thinking card sharks again. So we've got our 3 whales. We got to decide on a name, what we're going to call this game. So we gotta put that out there. Maybe when we're going through the lore, that'll kind of fall into place. Oftentimes it does. So I think, we'll get our game design document, Replit prompt, discuss the lore, kind of piece that together. We can just be kind of spitballing that. It's kind of good to have a little idea of that before we put our initial game design document and do our initial Replit prompt, and kind of have some sort of a name for the game. That could change as we go. With things, we might get a different feel. Aim for tomorrow's show to get all that down and get our first look at a live implementation, which is going to be a million miles away from what it's actually going to look like when we finish.
Yeah, exactly. So I think we're closing in on 3 hours. Shout out to Josh. I see him in there. He's watching and making dinner in the truck. Very nice. What you eating, by the way? What you cooking in there? And thanks for
Josh, brother.
And anybody else that's been watching, or if you're watching this after the fact, or if you're watching this, a month from now, and you've heard, hey, this is a great way to show you how to make this, that, and the other. I thank you, and I hope that everybody continues building, and I hope everybody keeps learning, upskilling in AI. Like I always say, it's not the AI that's going to replace you; it's the people that know how to use it are going to replace you. So, all right, I have a little kitty cat here trying to eat my my wire here, so I have to pooch him away. But yeah, it's the people that know how to use it, so it's nowhere near as daunting. And I hope everybody has seen how easy this process is. And like I said, even if you're not a big typing guy, just hit that microphone down there and just start talking to the AI. It's really good at understanding. I mean, look, we got thick Irish accents here, and I can pick it up no problem. Adam's looked back at some of the chats I've had, and he's like, "My God, there's no way he typed this, because there's ums and ams and this and that." But it picks it all up, and it all works. So you can just do that. You don't even have to type. That's the thing. So just get used to using it. And all we've used today so far is ChatGPT, and this is going to create the rock solid foundation that we need to move on over to Replit and start to build out the base actual game, something we can actually test and experiment, and as we would say, vibe with. We can vibe with it, and then we can see what we want to change, what we want to add, whatever we want to do, basically. So homework for everybody: think of a name that we could potentially call this game. Let us know. Let us know in the chat too tomorrow. And like Adam said, we are going to maybe dive into a little bit of lore and finalize this strong foundational PDF document that we're going to use to send over to Replit and get our first little test build going, and test out the functionality and see how it's all working. So I'm excited. Adam, you happy with the first one?
Yep, really happy. I mean, when we're kind of pushing for the burn and we're doing stuff like this, I know with Rico's Revenge, we'd probably stay going for another 5 or 6 hours tonight.
Yeah.
And I'd be usually how that goes is I'm here and I'm like this, because it's I'm over in Ireland, and it is, what time is it right now? It is 1:05 a.m. in the morning, so we can possibly sometimes stay going for 3 to 4 hours. And
I've got a secret weapon. Check it out. Can you hear that? I'm not sure if
And
people can
that's
hear
usually
that.
what happens.
But I got a
Yeah,
little foghorn sound effect here. So if Adam starts falling asleep, I gotta hit him with the foghorn on my notepad here, and that wakes him up, so we can keep going. So,
that
but
wakes
yeah,
me
so
up. I get another prompt in, and then I kind of doze off while the agent is doing his work again, and then I get blasted with the foghorn again. So we don't do that too often, but when we're pushing for the burn to try and get something out and get something ready, the foghorn becomes
gotta be
pretty
done.
useful for Mr. P. That's just because he's ahead of me. He's behind me in
Yeah,
time.
it's only
So
five.
it's
It's
like,
only 5 p.m. here, so like it's in the morning
yeah,
time for him. So, but
yeah,
then when I'm late, Adam's just getting up, and it's like midnight for me, and Adam's starting to get back up, and then I'm like, and then he's like, right, let's go, let's do this, and, But that's how it goes. That's the way it's got to go when you're pushing for the burnout here. So yeah, I hope everybody enjoyed today's episode. And I hope that you understand exactly how to work with AI. Never always trust it. Make sure you always, have a good mental understanding of exactly what you're trying to achieve. Be sure to check it when you need to check it, because it won't always give you the right thing that you're looking for.
yeah,
So
and
yeah.
and
Mhm.
don't always agree with the AI. The AI will always agree with you, no matter what. And you can phrase stuff in any way you want, and the AI will butter you up and cradle them testes, no problem for you all the time. Loves doing it, but don't always agree with it because it will get stuff wrong, and it might try and push something on you that you think might not work. So like always use your own logical thinking too when you're using AI, especially when you're creating the game design document, because this might have been, boring for some people or whatever, but it's absolutely vital that you get a strong game design document down before you start the build, and that you fully understand the process. And I'm not saying that it's not going to change, but you fully understand the rules of the game, especially when you're building a game. It's got to have rules. Every game has to have rules. Otherwise, there's no guardrails. People won't trust it, and it won't work. So it's vital to get this step down. Might be boring for some people. Very interesting for me because I'm a nerd and I like nerding out with AI and building games.
Very interesting to me. I
But I
love building
hope,
games. I studied video game design development college. Always wanted a game design studio, and now it is here. And now we're going to share our experience and knowledge with all you guys, so you can do the same thing. And of course, utilizing AI now makes this process so much quicker. You can go from concept to a full working MVP product. We'll have an MVP product here within the next 2 shows, I would say, that we can
yeah,
actually
yeah,
play with and test. And then after that, it's aesthetics, working on features, branding, all that kind of thing, and making sure and testing and make sure it all works out. So I'm excited. I think people are going to be very surprised at how
yep.
quickly we get something churned out here. So stay tuned, everybody. Adam, you got anything to say before we sign off for today?
That's it. If anyone does want to go and have a little bit of AI fun themselves, throw some stuff into it. Let's come up with a nice name. Let's come up with some lore. Let's see it in the Telegram chat. Let's see it in the live chat tomorrow. Want to see what you come up with? That's the homework. Get it done, and please spread the word. Get as many people as you can into the live streams. Let's all start vibing in the live chat together and make a kick-ass live game show for live streaming.
Absolutely. All right, guys. Well, this has been an exciting one. We are 3 minutes away from a 3-hour live stream here with the first part of the development. But like we said, Adam said, can be a little boring sometimes, but it is so important. So tune in tomorrow, and we will be finalizing that PDF, getting that ready, and we'll work with some lore, and we'll work with some names of the game and this and that. So bring your ideas, bring your creativity, and if you do have friends that you know and think would be interested in this kind of content, that are interested in AI but just a little bit reluctant to take that step, tell them tune in. Tell them watch this. So wherever you're watching from, if it's YouTube or somewhere else after the fact, if you're watching live, we appreciate you guys, and yeah, we look forward to seeing you all again tomorrow. Of course, we do have the trending show first thing at noon PST, and then after that, we will be coming back live here with the PumpFun Hackathon. In the meantime, go and check out moonordust.media and see everything that we got going on. So yeah, we are signing off. Much love. I'm Mr. Pixel. That's my twin brother, Adam, over there. We love you all, and have a safe evening. We'll see you guys tomorrow. Peace.
What is going on, everyone? I am DeFi Sean, and PumpFun and the entire crypto world is about to get hit with the coolest thing it's ever seen, because Mod Media is joining the Build in Public Hackathon on PumpFun. We've done it once with Lunar Dust, our high production game show that's about 25 episodes in front of everyone on YouTube. But this time, for our second game, we're going to be building live on PumpFun for everyone to see. So let's go ahead and get into it. And for those that don't know me, I am DeFi Sean, the owner of Crypto and Cause Investing, both the YouTube channel and the marketing company, and one of the co-founders of Mod Media, joined by my partners Adam and Mr. Pixel. We're building live entertainment that actually converts attention into on-chain activity. And the problem we're solving is simple. We all know crypto has amazing technology, but horrible engagement. Builders are either building something too complex or flat out too boring. Also, builders have the problem of getting people to engage and stay locked in, and most of the marketing they do feels fake or inorganic. Mod Media fixes that though by turning crypto into live, interactive entertainment. We go live 5 days a week with what we call Mod Trending, covering the top 5 projects trending on our bot. For those that didn't join us on YouTube building Lunar Dust, it is a high production deal or no deal style game where developers go head to head against our whales, picking their wallets for a chance to win up to 1,000 USD. Then that second game is coming to PumpFun. But exactly what are we going to be doing? We're going to be coding live. We're going to be testing it live. We're going to be bringing up community members to play the game, to break it, and to work out all the bugs in front of everyone to see. And at the same time, we're going to be bringing Mod Trending to PumpFun, Lunar Dust to PumpFun, and also teaching builders how to utilize AI for graphics, branding, and content creation. If you make crypto fun to watch, people stick around. And if people stick around, builders win. And when builders win, that's how entire ecosystems are built. And I hope PumpFun and our competitors are ready, because when Mod Media hits PumpFun, it is going to be essentially over. What we do, no one does it better, and the entire market is about to see that. So go ahead and strap up and enjoy the entertainment.